The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where we love a good mystery. And it's no mystery why we gather together on a Friday night, to commiserate and to drink after a brutal, brutal week. Last week, and a few weeks prior, we talked about some of our favorite urban legends. Well, we specifically avoided one particular subgenre so we could dedicate a whole Last Call to it, and that's cryptids. And we couldn't talk about cryptids without our dear friend of the channel going all the way back to its inception, Big Al of Big Al Presents. And of course, the up-and-coming streaming giant in the paranormal community, Nick of Beyond the Hub podcast. Well, come on, Bigfoot is right there in his logo. So settle in, top off your glasses, tell me what you're sipping on in the chat, and we'll get this Canarble wagon rolling right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
Gava salud. Welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. Brutal week. I don't know about you, but I've been looking forward to this all week, and I will tell you what I'm sipping on a little bit later at a specific point in the stream. Until now, just know that it's yummy and it makes my insides feel all nice and warm. Sorry, I wasn't doing the typing because we were getting prepared and connecting with each other in the backdrop, so didn't have a chance to do all the, like Netter does, the hi sweeties. I'm glad she's here to take care of that.
I didn't even do that yet myself.
See, we're both behind because we were.
I was eating a sandwich.
Fair enough. Starting with FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim. Hail, hail, welcome. In search of a plot. Yes, exactly. Curtis Selby was multitasking. I know he was over on Moira Kitty's channel. Thanks so much for being here, my friend. David Pensack. It's Friday night. Prepare yourselves for the Canarble wagon. Let the liquid fun flow. Hello there. Last call with Troy Pacelli and Agent Boomer. Welcome, David. Always a pleasure to see you here. And you know what? I might as well just bring this guy in. Big Al of Big Al Presents. Looking very squatchy there tonight. How you doing, my friend? What you sipping on?
I am doing very well. I'm feeling all furry tonight, and thankfully I do not smell. But I am drinking some iced tea. I take too much medication to be
yeah, exactly.
Harder stuff.
And unfortunately, not the good stuff that would go real well with the alcohol, right?
Oh, no.
And, of course, there's Enigma Severus. Hey, more fun stuff. Yes, absolutely. Good to see you, my friend. And he just came from Sin's live stream. So glad that you were able to make it. And Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. Greetings and felicitations. Welcome, my friend. The bird woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary, welcome. Last call with Troy Pacelli. He's a given. He's always here. He just won't go away. Already said hi to you, David. Welcome. Deleted Scenes. Salute, my friend. Good to see ya.
Deleted Scenes. Going to be doing a movie with him next Friday.
Picture it. Nessie, Bruce the Shark, and Free Willy walk into a bar. What would they say? Let's see. Nessie would be very quiet. Willy would eat the shark. Okay, I'm not sure where I'm going with that. See, this is what happens when you get me, Agent Boomer. Welcome, my friend. Let's get you in here right now. My designated driver's looking a little, is this going to get me canceled?
Maybe.
I mean, does this constitute I'm okay, what do we got here, Agent Boomer?
All right, I got that from the Jacksonville, I think city website, or Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
I have here a book called Weird U.S. Many of you may have heard.
Oh yeah. I've got Weird Chicago.
I used to have a bunch of those volumes. Weird Illinois, you probably have, yeah. I used to have a bunch of those volumes that got messed up in the flood, but I did rebuy the two main ones. And there is one in here under Bizarre Beasts, in the first volume of just regular Weird US was Barden Booger Beast. If you don't mind, I'll read it to you. It's a very short entry.
Okay, go ahead.
Something big and hairy is walking around the backwoods of Barden, Florida, just northwest of Palatka. Locals claim this bear-sized beast has a pig's nose, a long red tongue dangling out of its mouth, and a stride longer than humanly possible. And they call it Booger. The 2,000-strong population of Barden has come to embrace their neighborhood creature. They sport T-shirts, hats, and cups emblazoned with its likeness. The local restaurants offer Booger burgers, and songs have been written in the monster's honor. And whether it is a beast or just bull, Booger has put Barden on the map. Locals celebrate or commercialize their resident What's It by dressing up as Booger for store grand openings, and often scare visitors and farmers by donning Booger costumes and masks. So
that's just brilliant.
So is it a product of an imaginative advertising campaign, or does the Booger really exist? Old-timers in the area swear that this legend has been around for many years, but when the wind is right, you can smell an offensive odor that the townsfolk claim to be the Booger Beast foraging for food. Maybe he's just hungry for a good Booger Burger Deluxe.
Wow. Is a Booger Burger something that exists in Florida?
I've not been to that part of Florida.
That is just wild.
And I'm drinking a Simply Orange, in case you're wondering what I'm sipping on, because I'm still getting over a certain strain of a certain virus of unknown origin.
Well, don't let it become a computer virus. Keep it over there.
Yes.
Matt Anui, welcome, my friend. Sir Torin Clegane, always good to see you. Greetings and salutations to Nate of Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Welcome, welcome. Evelyn Hampton, I hope you are doing well. Good evening, everyone, she says. I hope you are feeling well. Let's see here. Nate is sipping on a Dr. Bob, I believe. Okay, there you go. Well, wait a minute. I passed up Netter of Netter's Network. Let's get her in here. She is the bouncer tonight. Looking a lot like Nessie. How you doing, my dear? And what are you sipping on?
It's the closest I get to a dragon.
I suppose. Yeah.
And I do have a glass of the same stuff you're sipping on,
which we'll talk about later.
I'm also going to be sipping on my usual Meyer brand sparkling water berry.
Yeah, you make it sound like you're opening a beer or something.
No. Those come in bottles.
Okay. I like how you think. Absolutely. Samuel Proctor, I've heard enough Bigfoot stories from people I know in my area to be open to the idea. If I saw one, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Good to know that, Samuel. That's awesome. That's awesome. If you got a story to share, by all means, share it.
Where's Samuel from?
Yeah, Samuel, whereabouts are you from? I forget. Enigma Severus, welcome. And of course, the Vagrancy Horror. Christoph, make sure that you are subscribed to Nick, who is linked below. And Nick, make sure you are subscribed to the Vagrancy Horror. You guys choose some of the same grounds, and I think you would really enjoy each other's channels. Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. And let's see. Don't want to miss nobody. Shame I'm at work. We talk about cryptids all the time over on my channel. Yes, exactly right. What are we doing above water? At that moment, Bruce dies of drowning of air, and Free Willy lays there beached, and Nessie just waddles back to the lake. Okay, that's fair. Okay, that you put some thought into that. That's good. And of course, PJ of Orville Nation, we grow together. Welcome, Orville. Welcome. And Nessie is one of my favorites. I love water cryptids. There you go. And I think that catches us up, so let me make sure that you guys are all ready for the big celebrity. No offense, Big Al, but come on. Big channel. Nick of Beyond the Hub podcast, welcome back. This is 2 weeks in a row. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing, my friend, and what are you sipping on?
Doing good. I'm sipping on same thing I had last week, a little Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
The cherry Pepsi or a regular?
The cherry Pepsi.
Cherry, just like last week. Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
almost got a 12-pack of that this week, but I decided against it.
I'm telling you, my mother introduced me to cherry Coke before Coke put out a cherry Coke. You know, the old-fashioned, fountain version, right? And then they started putting out cherry Coke, and Mom picked it up because she's like, well, now I got to try it. And she's like, it's okay, but it's not the same. I'm like, you're right. It's really not. But when Pepsi put out theirs, tasted better. It actually tasted better. And I prefer Coke over Pepsi, except when it comes to the cherry Coke. Or cherry cola, I guess you'd have to say when you're saying Pepsi. So we're talking about cryptids tonight. Nick, you want to help us out. You are the subject matter expert. You know the length and the breadth. You've actually done some investigations, haven't you?
I have, yes. And I'm not just ignoring everyone. It looks like I am. I have my monitor up here, so this is the way I'm looking at anyone.
No, right.
Not ignoring anyone.
I know how it goes. Yeah, you've got the real super professional setup. That's why I bring you in here so I can learn from you. You are the guy.
Yeah. So, I've gone on a few investigations. I want to go on in some more in-depth ones. Specifically, it was kind of like in addition to what we were doing, kind of thing.
Right.
Like while we were out here, you might as well. This could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But what do you want to know?
First, you are regionally northeast, right? Northeast United States. So this is going to become important later on as we're talking about cryptids from around the country and so forth. So first, can you tell us what is a cryptid? I think everyone knows, but what's the official definition?
Basically, it's a creature that people believe exists, but hasn't been proven yet by science. Mm-hmm. Like stories of Bigfoots and creatures in the ocean. They, they come from these legends. They're called cryptids for a reason, because they're hidden, like sort of mysterious, I would say. But people are still trying to figure out if they're real or not.
Absolutely. We're already getting the chat going. Matanui is already making the argument against the theory that Nessie is a plesiosaur that survived the extinction event and is living in Loch Ness. I tend to agree.
All possible.
I suspect it's something probably a little bit smaller, but I believe there's something there. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Jesse Guahara, though. And
I have my theory. I have my theory on a lot.
Go ahead. What is your theory, Al?
Maybe they're fish like oarfish and things like that.
I've heard that theory put forward. That would be the Occam's razor answer, right?
Yeah,
that just seems the most obvious.
Or just like some new class of eel or something like that. But like this, it doesn't matter. It could be something, quote unquote, every day. But I just think the size of it is what would make it special. I do think that some creatures get to a size that many scientists aren't quite familiar with.
Yep. And
never mind. Get rid of that. That doesn't look right.
You want to flip that for us, and we'll bring it back. Well, you know what I could always do is because I like to focus on my wife anyway. We can just kind of do that. That's an artist's or possibly an AI rendition of what of how Nessie's described. And Christoph is saying there are several adolescent ones. Loch Ness is a spawning ground. They leave through underground channels when they get bigger. See, the only problem I have with that is we don't have any proof of the underground channels yet. And that's because we haven't had the research we need to have. We got people literally giving up their lives to go down to the bottom of the ocean to look at the frickin' sunken Titanic. For crying out loud, let's get some of those, those subs into Loch Ness, for crying out loud. That's all I'm saying, you know?
Well, it's not the only place to be looking for those things either.
But Nick, of all the, we were talking about urban legends last week, and some of them are based on truth, and most of the urban legends we can either trace back to the first time the story was told and say, well, we don't have any physical evidence of this, it's become literally a legend, or this is what we know, this is the reality, this is the truth, anything else is potentially, fugazi. When it comes to cryptids, though, most of the time what we're looking at is somebody or a number of somebodies have reported having seen something. The stories all sound similar. One possible explanation for that, of course, is one guy was crazy and drunk and hallucinated something, and everyone else is like, oh yeah, I saw that thing too. But the other possibility is there's something that everyone is seeing, that is somehow related. But we have had examples of cryptids, as we've just described them, that turned out to be absolutely real. Turned out, we found the evidence, and sure enough, we found a new whatever. You know some of those stories, don't you?
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot. Like, for example, if you know one.
I don't know the specific, but I know there's some sector of people who believe in Bigfoot that believe it is an actual, something of a primate, and then there's others who believe that it is, a cryptid. Brandon's the one who brought this up. There's there's people that believe it's, oh my God, this is a cryptid. And other people are like, no, what are you talking about? This is science-based. It's a primate of some sort. But I know that they recently discovered a new sort of primate, and I think that's when you're referring to. I just can't remember the actual name of it.
Well, I was thinking, first off, actually, this wasn't the one I was going to go to, but as long as we're on the topic of Sasquatch, one of the ones that people talk about is just the gorilla itself. Mm-hmm. The gorilla, for a long time, people were talking about a giant, hairy, humanoid creature that nobody had seen before until someone finally, discovered, got actual evidence and actual encounters with gorillas, and then scientists started getting all these pictures and started following them and realizing, oh, there's a migratory thing, so they don't stay in the same place all the time, and started learning about them. And yeah, I mean, so and there's still a lot of myths that people believe about gorillas because it started out a little bit as a legend. The other one, and you guys might know more about this than I do, a little aquatic creature called the coelacanth that was believed to be extinct millions of years ago, and people were saying, oh, no, we found him, and it wasn't until some fishermen pulled one up in their fishing line, I want to say somewhere in India or something like that, but I guess there's a lot of them like along the African and Indian coast.
Yeah, I think it was the Indian Ocean where they did it. And you find out when they talk to these fishermen, if I remember correctly, they've been catching these things for years, and they just throw them back because
they just threw them back, not knowing they were anything. Yeah, they were just something they couldn't.
They couldn't use them, so.
They are very, very interesting creatures because think of them as a really weird crab-like kind of crustacean-y creature, but it's got a lot of shell and almost no meat. So it's not something that a fisherman would be interested in.
Well, it's a fish. It's a really
fish.
Big, ugly fish.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit like an aquatic version of an isopod. The roly-poly bugs, but real big.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's another example. And somebody here, I hope it hasn't gone too far. No, you're getting in right at the beginning here, Jesse. No worries. someone was talking about. Oh, here it is. Jesse was talking about his favorite cryptid being the Tasmanian tiger, which would be the same kind of circumstance. A creature that we know did exist. We literally have taxidermied examples of it. Got photographs. We even have. Well, now it's been digitized, so I can call it video. But it was, movies of it. And as far as we know, it's gone extinct, but there have been people saying, nope, it still exists. It's out there in the wild. They've been trying to get pictures of it and whatnot. If it exists, there's probably not a lot of them, but Tasmanian tiger would constitute another cryptid. So just because he was trying so hard to bring up a picture of Nessie. This isn't the famous one, but it's an artist or AI. It is an AI rendition that seems to be very much inspired by that famous photograph that was part of the thumbnail for tonight's stream.
I'll say this with the AI with cryptids, it was a bit better than other things. Not perfect, still got a lot of things wrong, but it was better. I had an easier time with this, yeah.
There you go.
Because it goes on the internet and just see, well, what do people say this thing is? And then it comes up with its own idea, maybe.
Yeah. There you go.
I think the photo you're talking about, I believe, is called the surgeon's photo.
The surgeon's photo, yes. Yeah. Which, of course, it's a cropped photo, so what I used was obviously the cropped photo, but when you pull back, you realize, that's a lot smaller than it really looks. And moreover, it's been an admitted hox.
It was a small little submarine that he
built up a little bit, took a picture of, and I mean, but
people.
It's the other thing. The other element of it is, there's that whole wanna believe thing, right? And you've got other people out there that says, I've seen this, I've seen that, and there's a photograph of what they believe to be a big fin from someone that was taking underwater photographs and whatnot. I'm telling you guys, you really gotta get down there. There's even somebody who said that they were able to see something that looked like it might have been Nessie on a Google Maps picture of Loch Ness. It's one of those things where it's like, it could be Nessie, or it could just be, a deep spot in the lake, or it could just be something floating there. It's kind of really hard to tell, I mean, it's like the people that said, I saw a murder, 2 guys throwing a body into the water from Google Maps, and it turned out it was just 2 guys standing on a pier, and their dog had gotten in the water, and as it went back up to shore, it left wet spots that looked like blood because it turns the wood like a reddish color.
Right.
It's like,
I can't think of the term. What's the term when you see something in the shapes and images, like in trees?
Yes, it's
I can't think of it.
Crap.
Come on.
See, you too, right? It's
I know it but
every day in life.
Usually relates to like finding patterns in things.
Paragolia.
Yeah,
something.
Yeah. That's it. You're absolutely right. And there's another one for auditory things, which they try to say that the white noise when you hear voices in it, it's the same kind of thing. Maybe it's the same word. Maybe paragolia works for audio too. I don't know for sure, but yeah, absolutely. So Loch Ness. What do we think about Loch Ness? Nick, you have any thoughts? Have you ever been to Scotland? Have you ever done any research on this?
I've never been to Scotland. I've seen all the shows on Sci-Fi where they would run the cameras through there, and like they did the sonar where they dragged all the stuff like all the way across the lake. But
Good night, Tim. Take care. Sorry, I just wanted to say goodbye to someone who's leaving.
They did admit to there being caves under there that could go to other sections somewhere.
I heard about that. Like it could be in some other cavern that people can't get to. That's why we never see it.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility. We just don't have the evidence on it yet. But yeah, I mean, I want to believe too. But like, I'm kind of with and Big Al, you were saying you think it might be an oarfish or something like that.
Yeah, something. I don't think Nessie is an oarfish. I think right now the biggest theory is that it's a big giant sturgeon,
A
but
big giant sturgeon, sure.
but just like sea serpents in general, like you keep finding like oarfish and things. But
I'll tell you what, if that's the explanation for Nessie, my next question would then be, I wonder what the fishing's like.
Yeah.
I mean, are people pulling like some big fish out of the lake? And
Well, isn't that who's seen her? Fishermen. Isn't that who've accounted seeing her? I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
Well,
The famous one is from shore.
It was a couple that was driving, right? And they said something crossed the road or something like that.
yeah, that's one. There's been, I think there's a story that Saint Columba had an experience with the Loch Ness monster as well.
I actually think that's the origin of the story, isn't it?
I'm not sure if it's the origin, but it's definitely in the lore.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Matt Inouye is saying, EVP is the phenomena that I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Electronic voice phenomena?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so that's Nessie. Yeah, I didn't think Nessie was going to be the first one we were going to talk about tonight.
Well,
I thought
she's an important one.
Yeah, that's right. They do tend to think of Nessie as female.
You think of Nessie and Bigfoot. Those are the two big ones, I think, right?
So thank you for the transition. So Bigfoot, this is another AI representation. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
So like I said, I figured this would be the top of our show. Like I said, I know that this is Big Al's favorite. And it's on Nick's logo, for crying out loud. That's the famous one. Big Al, take it. Tell us a little bit about Bigfoot and why you are such an enthusiast.
Well, of course, Bigfoot is the giant hominid, or basically big furry creature that most people know of as being in the Pacific Northwest. However, as time has gone by, we're finding out that there are similar creatures all over the country. New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, of course, Florida with the skunk ape, Louisiana with the Honey Island swamp monster. One of the ones that got me into loving Bigfoot, which is the Falk monster, the Moggy Creek, Legend of Moggy Creek, which is an early film that really got me into loving Bigfoot.
I saw that movie specifically because of you. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, the famous Patterson Gimlin film that is still to this day has not been able to be disproven, which is still
the famous one from the 70s.
The famous image from 60. Let me get the right date here. I can't remember the Patterson Gimlin. Come on, Patterson Gimlin. I can't find finding everything. Ape Canyon is another. Oh, okay. Here's Patterson Gimlin. October 20th, 1967 is when the Patterson Gimlin film was filmed. 59.5 second long, and it's just the absolute iconic piece of Sasquatch footage out there. And the fact that there's a big giant hairy monster out there, I know it's gonna freak some people out. I love the fact that there could be a big giant hairy monster out there, and it doesn't scare me. I want to be his friend. That's really weird.
My understanding is there haven't been a lot of like Bigfoot attack type stories. Most of it has been, very reclusive, stays away, runs away when he sees you type of thing.
There are a few attacks that have been noted.
Yes.
In fact, in Legend of Mikey Creek, there's one with the Ford family at a big that the Falcon monster kind of got was got his hand in a window there. There's an iconic scene from that film where they reproduced that. There's Ape Canyon, which is
Samuel Proctor was literally just bringing that up.
Oh, he just put in Ape Canyon.
Ape Canyon, Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a recreation of that. There's a film called Sasquatch.
Okay.
Which is a fictitious docudrama about an expedition, and they run into something. But during the film, they talk about other sightings and legend and lore of the creature. And they do a recreation of Ape Canyon, which was a group of I think they were miners. Were they miners? I believe
the ones that were attacking the cabin, right?
Yeah, gold prospectors.
Gold prospectors. Yeah, yes.
Near Mount St. Helens, and which took place July 16th, 1924.
Wow.
And one of them took a shot at it, and next thing you know, hell started raining down. Rocks were being thrown from all kinds of different angles. So there were
a few of them, right?
There were quite there was a group of them.
Somebody got kidnapped?
Not Ape Canyon. It died out after a night. They were like all hunkered down, and when it eased off and like they kind of checked nothing was around, they got the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, they didn't go back to the cabin.
Yeah, they left.
Evelyn's asking about a werewolf in Wisconsin. Not
the Beast of
a
Bray
cryptid.
Road.
Yeah.
Jesse had it. Yeah, the Beast of Bray Road.
Exactly. I think. Boomer, did you have a picture of that one? Because
give me a minute. There are lots of different wolfmen. That's why I had a wolfman.
Wolfman also known as
there you go.
Also known as dogmen. Let's get that. Make sure.
Dogmen.
Another term.
Well, wait a minute. We're getting away from.
We'll get to the wolf.
So
I thought you were going.
I'm not. No, I'm not done with Bigfoot. I just wanted to acknowledge.
Hey,
Evelyn.
Never be done with Bigfoot.
No, absolutely.
Did you know, though, I was watching an Unexplained episode where Shatner was talking about Bigfoot. Apparently, Teddy Roosevelt, before he became president, he wrote a book on his wilderness adventures, and he had never seen a Bigfoot, but he talked to a mountain man who told a story about how there was trappers that ran into one, and they were trying to spot it, and they set traps for it and left the trapper behind to look for the Bigfoot to see if he showed up, and then they come back to the camp, and the trapper was stomped to death.
Wow.
Yes, he was dead, and like they saw big footprints around him. This was recounted to the Theodore Roosevelt, the president of Theodore Roosevelt.
See, that's the other side of it. Bigfoot, based on the descriptions, we're going to assume he is, probably like gorilla size, right? So he's big, he's strong.
No, bigger.
Well, bigger, okay.
They saying 800-pound minimum, actually.
But luckily reclusive. Yeah. But I don't care how reclusive you are. Whatever animal, you corner, if it feels threatened and it doesn't think it can get away, it's gonna fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, regardless,
that's just nature.
Territorial.
Pardon me?
Or her, like, regardless, like, even if they have, like, a known escape, they just come up and, like, try to press up on you.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other thing, too, is assuming, again, all the things we were saying about Bigfoot, a hominid, a great primate of some kind, they've got to be social. They probably have, mates and children, and so there's got to be some territoriality to them. So if they feel like you are encroaching on their,
nest,
where their family is, and they need to, protect their family, mate,
Yeah, there've been reports of, people who've been out, camping or whatever, going deep into a place they've never been before, quote unquote, and they start to get like the pebbles or acorns starting to get tossed at them. Little warnings. They start to hear the cries and the knocks and things like that, and they always say the same thing. It's like, we felt like, one, we were unwanted, and then when they start to go, they always felt like they were right behind them, making sure
you left. Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind of makes sense.
It's like they never, but it's like they could rarely see them. Although they would sometimes see movement behind a tree or something, but they always felt like they were being escorted out.
So Matt Cheatwood, welcome by the way, says so. Bigfoot is a primate the size of a grizzly bear. Is that about the right size?
I would say,
anywhere from 6.5 to 10 feet tall is like the most recorded stuff. Usually 8 feet seems to be the magic number that everybody talks about.
when you were talking about that case in 1924, I'm wondering if this was a similar one. Were you talking about the one with Albert Ostman?
Is that the one who was kidnapped?
Yeah, but it happened in the same year.
I think that's different.
They happened in the same year. I'm curious to see if that's somehow connected, because that was in British Columbia where this happened.
Yeah, I think that's another one. Yeah, the man associated with Ape King, his name was Fred Beck. But I know the one you're talking about. I don't have anything on him right here though. But
he got kidnapped for several days and brought back to like their lair with the other Sasquatches.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Before he was able, it was one of like that was also 1924, I believe.
So Jesse is saying that on the Joe Rogan show, he interviewed someone who heard about a Bigfoot attack on 2 people in a cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Samuel Proctor's saying, in fact, that story comes from Roosevelt, and he only thinks it's slightly exaggerated, gives a lot of credence to the story. Theodore Roosevelt was very comfortable calling out anyone he thinks is a liar. Absolutely.
We need him today in politics. Anyway.
And and of course, welcome Logical Spark. Yeah. Well, you say that, but not to go down a political tangent, but we need less involvement in foreign wars and foreign affairs, and maybe a little bit more reserved on that regard. But
anyway,
that's a topic for another night.
Anyway,
so
I always respected Theodore Roosevelt, though. I agree. He knew nature too. He was very comfortable in the outdoors. Yeah.
His brand of conservationism was very much of its time. It would probably upset the modern environmentalists, but he was very much of the mind of learn about nature, record everything. He was a hunter, so he would go bring back samples. But I don't. If he were to know that something he was hunting was endangered, I don't think he would do it.
No.
He was hunting things that he believed to be plentiful, that he wanted to bring back an example of for study, and so that was his mentality.
I know the bear he had on display in the Smithsonian. I'm going by the movie The Wind the Line, so if that's accurate. I know that the bear was attacking one of the survey camps or something, so they had to put it down. But he still respected the bear, and he says, I'm gonna have it taxidermy. We'll put it on display in the Smithsonian.
Yeah,
that's what he was going to do with
there
it.
You go.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, if you're going to do that, bring back hunt something, bring it back.
Yeah.
And then nobody else has to do it for that purpose. You have
that's
a
what
sample
his feeling
too.
was. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I need you to take down the Nessie one, because as you're putting them in,
get rid of it.
Yeah, I can't take it out.
I can bring it back.
Yeah, you can always bring it back if we need it.
But did you want to show real quickly the other one I have up there? Took that myself.
That one looks
a nature preserve, and
yeah, you did. It looks very realistic.
Does it look real at all?
It really does, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, it is so photorealistic, but something in my brain is telling me I've never seen a gorilla that was this, erect and standing. They do stand on 2 feet, but when they do, they're not as tall and slender in that regard. So I'm like, this doesn't look like a gorilla. If you're telling me this is a Sasquatch, maybe. You're right, though. This is going to become a problem going forward for investigators like you, Nick. When people start bringing up stuff, and you're going to have to start thinking, yeah, that looks pretty realistic. I wonder if it's AI generated.
Yeah.
I did it through Canva. It got really angry. I kept saying skunk ape. That goes against our policies. I'm talking about a smelly animal. I'm not talking about
some racial thing. Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know what they were getting that from. It's not a racial term. And then I was putting in smelly ape or disgusting. No, can't do that. I forgot what I finally got. I think I put ape in swamp, and that's what I got. Close enough. So it's not a cartoon pic, but I thought that's kind of funny. But
right, we were talking before about the skunk ape. So that's a Florida one, and I said my personal thing is it's just Sasquatch who hasn't taken a shower in a while,
perhaps.
So he's getting a little ripe, and that will happen down in Florida. You end up getting swamp ass down there.
Listen, well, it's the humidity. Anyway, though, I did want to bring up a couple.
It is
a couple of counters. Apparently, in 1955, this is from the Weird U.S. book. 3 Boy Scouts emerged from the Ocala National Forest, scared out of their wits, saying they had been routed from their campsite by a big hairy monster with a human face. It wasn't the first sighting in that region. More than 20 other witnesses had reported encountering what they call a man-ape in various parts of the same forest. On a November evening in 1966, a woman motorist had a flat tire on a remote road near Brooksville, Florida, and got the scare of her life. While she was changing her tire, a big, shaggy-haired, man-like creature came out of the nearby swamp and sat down on the road to watch her. Fortunately, another car came along and the beast lumbered off. That's usually the thing with the skunk ape. It usually just looks at people, or maybe it jumps on the car. I don't think anyone's ever hurt somebody, from what I've heard. But
there's a video on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen it. It's literally called "I Think I Saw a Skunk Ape. Please help." Have you seen it? It's actually really interesting video. It's from 10 years ago. I can post it in the. I'll post it in the chat. The link to it.
Yeah, go right ahead. Sure. Go right ahead. Thank you. Anyway, though, but that's our state cryptid. We have a lot of cryptids in Florida, though. We even have a Nessie type of thing in Florida too. But yeah,
I mean, I feel like I would imagine living in Florida. Yeah, we've got a Sasquatch here too, but he smells bad. Probably the humidity.
Yeah, Florida. It's rather brutal. A lot. Some of the months, like this time of year, Florida is rather brutal. I'm going to be honest with you. Between the storms and the hurricane scares, and then of course the brutal humidity and summer heat. It's just not. Funny enough, this was always the time of year we'd get tourists from Europe, like England and places like that. And I'm like, why are you coming this time of year? I guess because fewer people are around this area that time of year. It's a good time to come. Because maybe it's easier to rent a place, but the beaches are nice at least. Yeah, but, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So that's and Nick, did we miss anything in regards to Sasquatch? I mean, I guess the one other thing we might bring up is, although we are talking about another country now, maybe there are some of these around the world, because I know that in the Himalayas there is the so-called abominable snowman that some people have hypothesized might be a similar kind of thing. Another the Yeti. Great ape, that lives in high altitudes in the Himalayas, and who knows, could be their version of Sasquatch. So the Yeti, yeah.
I mean, we were talking before, like how there's like this wide gap of what people believe. Like if you see the show Finding Bigfoot, you see like these guys, they believe in Bigfoot. If you watch Expedition Bigfoot, they have some wild theories on there that they're their own entity, and they can cloak themselves and they're part of a different dimension. I don't know if you've heard of any of those.
I've heard those kinds of things. The thing is, though, that when it comes to cryptids, I tend to be more of the Occam's razor type. If we're going to believe that something exists out there that's been sighted but we don't have any evidence of, let's go with what's most likely the case. Yeah. And I'm not poo-pooing anything. I'm not saying most likely thing is they're all drunk and it's mass hysteria or something. I just mean, if there is something to what they're seeing, I think one of the most compelling arguments I've heard in favor of of a Bigfoot is, of all the continents on the Earth, aside from Antarctica, which is frozen tundra, the Americas are the only ones that don't have an indigenous great ape. So what if there is one in all the woods of the Northwest, especially, that's very reclusive, keeps to itself, and we just have not yet categorized it?
Didn't the native tribes also acknowledge the existence of these creatures even before the settlers showed up? Right? I mean, this is not. It's not just some prospectors out in the woods. It was everybody who lived here.
I will say this though.
I mean,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, and from someone my age that grew up in the 70s, you'd think it was a 70s thing. Because Bigfoot was big in the 70s. He must have gotten a new marketing manager or something that went on tour in the 70s.
It was the Patterson Gimlin film. And all those great documentaries. I did a video about a lot of the Bigfoot
In Search of with
but were sightings becoming more common though, as maybe we started to get it more, areas started to get more built up, and maybe these things didn't had fewer places to hide. Maybe.
Well, there's that.
I mean, yeah.
But when I'm talking about the marketing jokingly, it wasn't just there was more interest because of the film and so forth. But then you started seeing Bigfoot in pop culture like crazy. You saw there was Bigfoot and Wild Boy on Saturday mornings when we were talking about the Croft Super Show, and Bigfoot played by Andre the Giant in the $6 Million Man, an action figure I'm working on a custom of, in fact.
I've got the novelization to that episode.
Yep, and he was played by another actor. Also, I just don't remember who it was. Maybe someone in the chat will remember, but Andre the Giant was the one I remember.
It was Ted Cassidy, I think.
Ted Cassidy, of course, who played Lurch. That just makes
that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Was there a model kit for Bigfoot in the 70s?
There was. I want to say it was Ertel. Ertel did a line of character figures, including some of the Marvel and DC superheroes.
Right.
But yeah, there was, and if I remember that model correctly, it was the in that gate that Nick has on his logo, that famous from the film,
the documentary.
Let's talk about that for a second. That famous image of which I used in the thumbnail for this, of the Sasquatch walking away, looking over its right shoulder at the person filming. Do you know a lot about that, Nick? I know there's been some debunking attempts. There's been mixed messages about whether or not it was fabricated or not.
They couldn't replicate the way it was walking. If that was someone in a suit, they couldn't do it. They tried to say that there was a special effects guy, but back then he couldn't even do that.
Right, exactly. The only thing, and I even heard someone suggest that, despite someone coming out and saying, yeah, it was me, I was in a suit and this and that, kind of a big guy, but a lot of people that have looked at that footage said, but it looks like a female, looks like it has breasts. So, maybe, yeah.
That's why they call her Patty.
Yeah.
Patty, okay.
That's her name, yeah.
What do you call the other one? I'm sorry. That was a bad joke.
Oh, you gosh. Man.
That was a joke from the book. And
trying to keep it PG around here, or at least PG-13. Well, I guess that would still constitute PG-13.
The Philip K. Dick movie, Scanner Darkly.
Oh,
that was from the book and from the movie. When the waitress points to her and says, there's a waitress next to her, says, "Oh, that's Patty," and she points to the name tag, and he says, "What's the name of the other one?" That's what the guy asked.
So, the one thing that always kind of stood out to me about that piece of footage, the Sasquatch that you're seeing in that, and again, it's very grainy, it's very hard to see details, so tricks of lighting are absolutely possible explanations for this. But it looks to me or at least it did to me as a kid. It looked like this light-colored band across the eyes, almost as though if you were wearing a mask that, had the eyes open so that you could see, But at the same time, you could also say, well, it's so grainy and blurry, could just be, light skin, dark fur, and this is the only part where you're seeing skin. You never know.
I want to add something to that, though. In that show, Expedition Bigfoot, they actually had this guy go in and totally digitize that
I
footage.
did see that.
It was
yeah.
like a 4K rendering of it. So
At the very least,
it makes it look more credible.
The best thing about it is that because it was a handheld camera, the first thing they did with it was, what do they call it? Motion stabilize or whatever. So that, that's absolutely brilliant. And I think they even, not using AI, but because it does move up and down, they added in the details, to, the tops and the bottom that get cut off as the camera moves.
Yeah, it took a long time. I think they went frame by frame on that.
It was actually kind of brilliant in terms of film restoration. Netter and I both tend to rag on TV shows and movies where, they get this distant footage from a CC camera or whatever. Oh, enhance it, and suddenly it's crystal clear, and you can read you can read a reflected words on a page in somebody's eye or some crap like that. It's like, come on.
Or you're able to reverse the blurry image.
Yeah, exactly. But this, that you were just talking about, that's enhancement that's like, I from the work I've done on photos, in Photoshop and stuff myself, it's like, I get this. I understand this. This isn't adding anything to it. It's just, well, because the camera moved, there was these branches that are cut off when the camera came. So we're just adding those back into the next frame. That's, yes, technically an enhancement, but, based on what we know is there and stuff. I'm getting a little too far down this rabbit hole, but I kind of dig that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, but actually, it made that you can see the muscles moving in there too when it was enhanced. Where that'd be very hard to fake.
I don't think Netter liked her drink. She's giving me hers.
Uh-oh.
No, that's okay. Well, it's okay for her. For me,
you get more star anise. Now, do you actually eat the star?
I don't know. I haven't tried. No, it's
weird.
It's a dried flower.
Oh.
You're just drawing the flavor out of it.
You can eat it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, I think you
Maybe
just boil
don't.
the flavor out of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just boil the flavor out
Alexa,
of it.
can you eat star anise?
Star anise is generally considered an edible food. Always contact a healthcare professional for specific concerns about allergies.
It's like she has to consult her lawyer before she answers our questions.
It's like, you can, but don't blame it on me if it goes south.
The fact that it's an AI saying that is hysterical as all crap. It's like,
but I didn't tell you nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Does Alexa believe in Bigfoot? Or does Bigfoot exist?
That's a good question. Let's find out. Are we going to get sued by Amazon or something like that? Alexa, do you believe in Bigfoot?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the easy way out.
Let me ask a different way.
Okay.
Alexa, do you know Bigfoot?
Bigfoot, also commonly referred to as Sasquatch, is a large and hairy human-like mythical creature alleged by some to
mythical. Alexa, stop! I don't want to hear anything else you have to say. Have we kind of covered everything there is to? Again, though,
I can always circle back.
I think of all of the. Thank you, Jen Psaki. But I said I wasn't going to get political, but when I drink,
anyway.
This of all the cryptids, I think is the one that has had the greatest impact on pop culture. I already brought up, for kids in the 70s, Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
Yeah.
Of course, the bionic Sasquatch of the $6 Million Man. I mean, there's a reason that I'm working on a custom action figure of that particular one. But he was on lunch boxes. There were comic books. Seriously, I kid you not. There was all this merchandise out there of Bigfoot. In fact, I should have thought to pull it out. I can't do that now.
What?
I used to play a game. Those of you that know of Hero Clicks, the little miniature superhero comic book superheroes. Battle game.
Yeah. I had a friend who had a lot of the Marvel ones.
Yeah. Well, they at one time were doing something called horror clicks, and they were all these monsters and so on and so forth. One of the premium ones, the gold band limited edition ones, was Sasquatch. Was it Sasquatch or Bigfoot? I forget. Sometimes they did variations. One was Sasquatch, one was Bigfoot, right. And they had slightly different stats. But because I was a completist, I had to get them all, right? And it's Sasquatch in exactly that famous pose, with the one that Nick has on his logo, So yeah, there you go. But anyway, yeah, let's go on to the next one. As long as you've got the picture up here.
Yeah, someone was asking about...
Evelyn was talking about the Wisconsin werewolf. Someone else was saying specifically dogmen.
Dogmen, yep.
Now, I again, going back to those horror clicks, there was... I don't know if this is related, but there was a grouping of figures you could get called dog soldiers. Is that the same thing?
I don't know.
And I've heard of a dog boy,
Hold on. There was something in my book, though, on these things, too.
Okay.
But, yeah, go ahead. Keep talking until I find it. Okay. I did make post-its, though.
Nick, do you know anything about, werewolf sightings, particularly in Wisconsin? I live right next door, and I'd never heard of this.
No.
But...
Oh, wait.
What?
Here we are.
Okay.
Beasta Bray Road.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin. Is that what she was saying?
She didn't say specifically. She just said Wisconsin.
Yes. Shaggy, man-like, wolf-headed, staring, sneering, wicked claws, fangs. These are the words eyewitnesses use to describe a creature that lurks mostly by night in the cornfields and thickets of southern Wisconsin. The Beasta Bray Road has shocked Walworth and Jefferson County residents ever since its sudden appearance in 1936. That was the year Mark Shackleman, a security watchman at a Catholic facility for the developmentally disabled, made an unsettling discovery on his midnight rounds. Shackleman spotted something digging on an old Native American burial mound behind the main building. Thinking it was a dog, he aimed his flashlight toward it and saw a man-sized shaggy creature with a dog-like head, pointed ears, and 3 long claws on each hand. After a short standoff, the beast walked off into the woods, but Shackleman encountered it again the next night, and he heard it utter what sounded like a word, Gadara. He considered it a quote-unquote demon from hell and never told anyone about it until his later years when he divulged it to his son Joe, a Kenosha newspaper editor. And I guess through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, other sightings led to puzzled and frightened witnesses calling police or the state's Department of Natural Resources to try and find out what they had seen. Surrounding communities whispered about a human-like creature known by such local names as Bluff Monster and the Eddy. Isn't that interesting? So
yeah, I mean, and I feel bad. I'd never heard of this, and I'm local to this. Big Al and Nick, you guys are Eastern Seaboard. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of Dogmen. Yeah.
You've heard of dogmen in general, okay?
Dogmen, canids, werewolves. Also, I know down in Louisiana, the Rougarou is the name they use there. Like I said, Beasta Bray Road.
That's just because they're French. They got to be fancy.
I think it's in Kentucky, Tennessee. There's a land between the lakes area. That there's some dogmen legends there. That there's this group called Small Town Monsters. They do documentaries, and they've done one on them, and that's kind of recent. And I still have to watch that one. So I'm
Jesse,
not as well, but there was like some slaughter there, and it was said to have been done by dogmen-like creatures, bipedal dogmen.
Jesse is saying that there is a movie called Dog Soldiers. I thought so. I'm pretty sure I have the DVD. I get a lot of these DVDs that have 4 and 6 movies in it. Usually, ones that you could probably find on Tubi. And I haven't watched it yet, but I think I specifically picked it up for Dog Soldiers again because I had those Horror Clicks figures that were the Dog Soldiers, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about the lore, but didn't quite necessarily get around to it. But it's an interesting idea, and I think somebody else had brought up. Oh, here it is. I've mentioned the Skinwalker in the Urban Legend stream. That's the closest thing we've got. We get stories of werewolves around here. My mom is very sensitive about us talking about it at all. Well,
it's interesting. Did she experience it herself, or know someone who maybe saw one? You don't have to tell us.
In my horror story, he wrote a horror story. Main character is a French Canadian fur trapper who grew up with the legend of the Rugaru.
Interesting.
And see, but I tell my mother, you want to talk about these things. If it's something dangerous, you want to know as much as you can and be prepared.
Maybe it's like you might be inviting it if you start obsessing about it,
I'm more of the know thy enemy sort,
right.
You're thinking of Beast of... Oh, I'll take the plunge here. Gévaudan? The life attacks that took place in France, September 1765. That I didn't know about. I don't know. But
I do have a description of the Beast of Bray Road.
Go for it.
The description stayed fairly consistent. Beast's height was estimated between 5 and 7 feet. Its hair was described as shaggy and often extremely wild, with coloration said to be dark brown, sometimes with gray or silver streak or tips. Those who had a good
That'll happen as you get older,
Those who had a good look at its head usually reported that it looked like that of a wolf or German shepherd with pointy ears. The most compelling characteristic, though, was the creature's aggressive stare. They say that the beast made eye contact and almost seemed to be sneering at them. That was what seemed to frighten the witnesses most. Interesting. Well, I'm just saying, people around the world have witnessed some sort of wolf creatures, right?
Before they had the license to do that figure, they did this one.
Oh.
Both Lon Chaney, but they did this one because this was public domain and they could get a hold of it.
Is that the teenage werewolf?
No, this is Face of the Screaming Werewolf. It was,
okay.
That's a good head.
It is, isn't it?
So then what's that other one that's still hanging up?
The one that, I was... so this one is...
more than one.
Also the Screaming Werewolf, but flocked, so that's real hair on it.
Very cool.
And one more.
One more. I was just going to say...
Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. That variant just had a different colored shirt. This is the flocked one. My apologies.
Ooh.
Fuzzy.
And unfortunately, I don't have it up there to show you, but yes, they also did Michael J. Fox as Teen Wolf, so I do have that one as well.
Did they do Henry Hall, the Werewolf of London?
Werewolf of London, they did not, and we've kind of been after them to do that because isn't that public domain? I think they could do it without having to pay extra for it.
I don't know.
All these others are licensed. That's the thing about Mego. They go after cheap licenses. So, how do you get the likeness of Michael J. Fox as Teen Wolf? Well, nobody's doing anything with it. You offered me, a licensing fee. Okay, we'll take it because we're not making any money off that movie anymore. And Jesse is telling us that the Beast of Gévaudan was killed, stuffed, and was part of a French king's collection of stuffed animals, but according to a servant, it looked like a hyena.
Interesting.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing about, because you can take animals and you can, if you understand the process of taxidermy, you can get, let's just say, creative,
Like the Fiji mermaid.
Like the Fiji mermaid. That's a perfect example. Absolutely. And Matanui, yep. Take care, my friend. Have a good night. Sleep well. Sleep well in the knowledge that none of the creatures that we talked about thus far have been dangerous to you or anyone in your immediate area. What do we got here?
Oh, well, I'm not trying to tell you what to put up. I was just putting a few up. But yeah, that is my best attempt, but Chupacabra.
Chupacabra, which also was featured in the center of my thumbnail, supposedly.
Okay.
Interestingly,
Like,
in a bipedal position.
Yeah, that wasn't the best.
Looks like he's got an extra leg there, too. That's something that happens sometimes with AIs.
I thought it was a tail. Yeah, see, it was not doing as well with the Chupacabra, but that one looked at least comic booky, so I figured I'd go with that. It's always woods. When you type in scary, the eye thinks, let's put dry trees surrounding. It's like, do you have to do that every time? This is why nothing will replace a regular artist, because
I agree.
Computers just...
Well, I do think, and I've gone, maybe I don't understand how the generative AI works.
Yes, maybe that's what it is too.
But I've been told that, you would think that you can teach it by putting certain parameters in, things like hands always have 5 fingers unless specified otherwise, right? Humans have 2 arms and 2 legs unless specified otherwise, things like that. Oh my gosh. I should actually... I do some of this stuff, and you get a bunch of stuff you just can't use. I should do a slideshow of some of the body horror that it's come up with. Mm-hmm. I did one for the summer, start of summer stream or something like that, and I just asked for a girl on a beach, right? And I figured I'd get a girl, sunbathing or whatnot, and I got plenty of pretty girls with extra legs and arms going in weird directions and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? What images are you looking at that you're coming up with this stuff?
Have you seen the AI videos?
Some, yeah. I've seen some good ones.
They are bad.
Some of them are bad. Yeah, it's true.
They're hilarious.
I think the biggest problem that I have is even when I see somebody do a video that's good, if they want to do another scene with the same character, it's completely different because you can't say, use this character, just keep using that character. You can't get it to do that. But as I tell Boomer all the time, for better or for worse, AI is in its infancy in this. And I think going forward, these things are probably going to get better and better. Which, like I said, could also be its own existential, horror. A horror movie called Beast of Bray Road. Okay, I'll have to look into
legend. That. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. The Chupacabra, though, they did an unexplained... That was on an unexplained episode about cryptids, and they talked about the Chupacabra. There was this woman, I want to say, I don't know if it was at a ranch out in Arizona or something, this thing was attacking her animals, and she shot it. Mm-hmm. She killed it.
Yeah.
And sent the DNA off to be examined. And, this is a Chupacabra. And she had the remains stuffed. And you can see it in the episode.
Yeah.
And I guess she taxidermied it. And the evidence that came back, the scientists thought it was a crossbreed between 2 different species, like maybe a type of wolf and something else. And they created an offspring. That was their own...
I actually find those kinds of things to be less credible than even some of the more outlandish theories about them. Because, look, when you understand genetics and stuff like that, and you understand the concept of the crossbreeding of species, it's usually impossible. And when it is possible, you end up with, for example, a mule.
Yes.
A single creature that cannot reproduce because genetically it just shouldn't be.
All I'm saying is, though, I felt bad because this woman's saying, and I have it in my house. You can look at it. It's like she's not lying about it. And again, it looks strange. But go ahead.
Kind of surprised some Men in Black didn't show up and say, we're going to need to confiscate.
But here's well, it depends on your theory of who the Men in Black are. But what would the big deal if it's an unknown creature, if it's not extraterrestrial? Why would the Men in Black care?
Well, because there is another theory about the Chupacabra that I know
really?
about. Yes. And that is that it is the result of genetic engineering and experimentation that escaped. So they would want to cover that up.
Which would account for the two different DNA combinations.
I don't know.
That's an excellent point. Yeah. It doesn't have to be able to procreate naturally because they're creating it in a lab.
Well, I always find about the Chupacabra, the appearance it's changed over the years. It used to be this weird bipedal little alien-eyed thing with like a little spike,
which I always described as a kobold from D&D.
Yeah, it does look something right out of D&D, but now it's more quadruped that looks like a coyote with mange kind of deal. So it's really undergone a transformation as to the popular.
Jesse points out that it's called it translates as goat sucker because it goes hand in hand with finding your livestock drained of blood and stuff like that. Yeah. But Nick, you know a lot about the Chupacabra?
Chupacabra.
This is mostly Texas and Central America legend, if I remember
Puerto Rico also.
Puerto Rico? Okay.
I'm not super into the Chupacabra. Obviously, I've heard of it, but I'm not super into the lore of the Chupacabra.
That's perfectly fine, because anything you don't know about, you can research and do a video about, and I'll be watching for it. Which reminds me, this is a great opportunity to remind everybody, the links to all of our guests are down in the description below. Please make sure that you are subscribed to. I mean, come on. If you're not subscribed to Netter and myself and Big Al and Agent Boomer by now, how can you even say you're really part of this community? But definitely be subscribed to Nick. He is Beyond the Hub podcast. You've got videos, every week, right?
Yeah.
He's got a video a week. And you do live streams as well, right?
Every Monday.
So just
you can also find him on Facebook.
So make sure that you're following him. If this is your ball of wax, if you like cryptids, urban legends, ghosts and the supernatural, aliens, any of that X-Files crap, definitely check out Beyond the Hub.
Yeah, our group is linked in there, and you can feel free to post anonymously too. We think we're almost at 157,000 people in that group.
Wow. There you go. That's
so make sure you join, share your stuff.
Nick, have you gotten is your channel monetized yet?
No, not yet.
Then guys, get over there and check out his backlog of videos, because he's got a lot there. If you're interested in any of these topics we're talking about tonight, he's either got a video about it or he's got one coming out. So go check it out. Give him the watch time so that he can get monetized. You can become a member or whatever, which you can also do here if you are so inclined and not already. We have memberships open. We've got super chats. We got the super thanks. We got all the things, if you are so inclined. But there you go.
I did have sorry. There is a paragraph on the Chupacabra in this book.
Okay, give it to us.
One of the most famous beasts in all of cryptozoology, has made many an appearance in the Rio Grande Valley area of Texas. He is the Chupacabra, legendary throughout Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Texas, as a hairless, black-eyed beast that survives by sucking the blood of goats. Hundreds of farmers have reported finding their goats slaughtered and eerily drained of every drop of blood. Appropriately, the Spanish word chupacabra means bloodsucker. Most describe the beast as a reptilian creature about 3 feet tall with razor-sharp fangs and claws. Some say that the chupacabra is a life form left behind after an alien visit to this planet.
Oh, they left their doggo behind? Oh,
Okay,
come on. That's just wrong.
That's their
Crying
Fido.
out loud.
Hey, maybe it's that thing that was in Star Trek 3, the Torg or whatever.
No, that
okay.
was
What was that thing that crew had?
give me a second. I know this. It was a Vornsker is what it was called.
Okay.
Yep. I know my Klingon animals, let me tell you. Yes, originally from Kotnos, relocated to was that wasn't Narendra 3, was it? Where Paradise City is. Anyway, that's fiction. We're talking about real stuff. We're talking about cryptids here. So there have been a lot of photographs of the chupa, or what people believe to be chupacabra. Sorry to rain on people's parades about those, but most of them have turned out to be coyotes and dogs that were either, and they're all dead. That's why they found them and photographed them. They were either in advanced stages of decay, or they just died and they had mange.
Rabies.
And that's why they lost their hair. Yeah, rabies has a tendency, rabies causes canines to froth at the mouth. Well, part of that is they end up becoming dehydrated. So you'll get that emaciated, tight skin kind of look to them. Pulls back from the from the teeth, pulls back from the eyes, so it gives them that very unnatural look. Not to mention, they're in the southern hemisphere. They're getting dried out in the sun anyway. So, this is not to poo-poo the sightings, and there's still the livestock being drained of blood. That's really happening. Something is doing that. What could be doing it? It would be one thing if a predator tears out, an artery and it bleeds out and the blood is there, or it bleeds out somewhere else and the carcass has been dragged. So you would go, okay, well, it didn't die here, so the blood might be somewhere else. But that is not the case. These are animals in pens oftentimes, so they can't have come from far away. Drained of blood, where is the blood?
No signs of it.
Exactly. So, I don't claim to have any answers. I'm not even theorizing. I'm just stating the facts that we know and going, sounds like something.
Can you still eat the goat afterwards, though, when it's been drained of the blood? You could make some goat jerky, or
if you are the type that goes around and picks up roadkill, and I know some people do, then by all means feel free. But the problem is that if you have a carcass sitting out for, let's say, the night, 12 hours with no blood in it, I would be very concerned about it already attracting flies, getting eggs laid in it and stuff like that. Well, I'm just saying, just to be safe. Okay. You do what you want. I'm saying don't.
Okay.
Always, if you're gonna eat some sort of meat, make sure it's meat that you preferably hunted and killed yourself, or raised yourself and killed, and it's fresh.
Or consult with your local chupacabra.
Yeah, exactly right. Your local bioengineering scientist, right? Yeah. Exactly.
I imagine you buy some blood from the blood bank or from some meat factory. Here, I'll just put out a bowl. Here's some beef stock blood.
I am surprised.
He's going to say it's not the same, and he's going to get all mad while he's saying
it's true. I am kind of surprised I haven't seen more lore that ties the chupacabra to vampires.
No.
The idea, and now I'm totally getting into myth right here. But imagine a vampire who has a dog, wants to keep the dog alive, turns it into a vampire. It's literally a vampire dog. There's your Chupacabra, right?
He literally just spoke that into existence now.
Well,
Now
good. Now maybe we'll get a
now.
good movie or something like that.
Coming this fall to the Sci-Fi Channel.
Wait a
There you
minute.
go. Anybody from Universal, if you want to use that in one of your future Dracula films, you have my permission. You know, just you owe me nothing, not even a credit. I just want to see this movie.
This is my little pet, Choopy.
Choopy. Yeah, exactly, right.
I'd like to see anything from Universal. I'm sorry, I'm being mean to them. Anyway, they're great
Dude,
with the
we'll
parks,
be
though.
talking about this more on a future Geeky Geezers, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Universal's Epic Universe.
Parks Division knows what they're doing.
It may very well be, if they start making movies based on the lore they're creating there,
For the parks, yeah, that could work.
we might end up with some good.
Plus, there's all
Universal
this in
monster
between
movies.
time too, between their original movies and when this park stuff is supposed to take place, right? So
Good point.
they
Good
could fill
point.
in the decades too. with
There you
movies.
go. So I'm seeing another one that looks familiar to me. I feel like this is a harbinger of bad things to come.
Okay.
Tell me about this.
Is anyone here an expert on the Mothman? Because I've heard
I saw that movie, the
all
Mothman
sorts of
Prophecies.
stories, and I don't get them. But I can also read from a book of nobody knows. Okay, but
Nick, do you know?
I mean, I didn't know of them, but I'm more familiar with like the Jersey Devil and stuff like that.
The Jersey Devil, I'm glad you mentioned that. As long as you have, let's. Do you have a picture of the Jersey Devil by any chance? You didn't even want to talk about him.
No,
Because I said originally, Agent Boomer, you're from the Jersey area, right?
For the love of Mike.
So
I'll
real
find
quick,
want me to find
tonight
a
I'm sipping on a Jersey
go.
Devil. This is a drink that was recommended to me by Big Al. Big Al Presents. There's a Facebook channel. Let me see. I can probably drop the link to. This is the link to the recipe, which is in the group on Facebook for. They basically have all kinds of drinks based on different cryptids. And let me real quick see if I can't pull this up myself and tell you what's in the drink. It is, as if I didn't mix it myself and remember it.
I know it's got star anise.
So real quick, yes. Real quick, the Jersey Devil is one of the most famous cryptids in the U.S.
Something.
If not the whole world, also known as the Leeds Devil. The creature is said to have the head of a goat or horse, wings of a bat, horns, clawed hands, hoofed feet, and devil-like tail. Legend has it that the... Come on.
I put something in there. I don't know if you can use it. Try it. See what it looks like.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is a fairly famous picture of it, yeah.
Yes.
I
can get a better
so,
one.
legend has it that in 1735, a woman named Jane Leeds, nicknamed Mother Leeds, was pregnant with her 13th child. Upon hearing the news, she cursed the child, claiming he would be the devil. After he was born, he transformed into what we call the Jersey Devil. This drink is 1 ounce Fireball whiskey, a ½ ounce anise liquor, cranberry juice, and sweet vermouth in a highball glass. Didn't have a highball glass, but this will do just fine. With ice, pour in your Fireball and anise liquor. Fill the glass with cranberry juice. Float with about ½ ounce of sweet vermouth. Garnish with star anise. Well, I do have a Fireball whiskey right here over my shoulder, and I did not have anise liquor. So what I did was earlier today, like literally as soon as Big Al sent me this recipe, I filled up a shaker with, I don't know, about 2 inches of star anise, and I macerated it with the Fireball whiskey I was going to be using. I just let that soak all night so that it would dry. And that's basically how anise liquor is made anyway, right? You'd probably use a vodka, but whatever. And so I believe I've hit the taste exactly the way the thing describes, and it's not bad. I think I went a little heavy on the cranberry juice on my initial drink, and I said it tasted a little like cough syrup, but it's tasting much, much better now. But yeah. So real quick, anyone else have any knowledge of the Jersey Devil before I let Aged Boomer go on his little rant about it?
No, I'm just, I know there was the whole thing with this, come see the Jersey Devil, and it was what, like a goat or something with wing glued to it or something.
You think this is something like the
I thought it was a hoax,
thing?
like a Fiji mermaid thing. And of course, other people say, well, that was just some guy making money off of the legend. The real thing exists. But as I say, we have a guest who I think knows more about this subject than I do. I mean, the other thing I know about it is that he.
This is kind of in your area there, Nick. Do you know anything about the
Pine Barrens too, right? So the Pine Barrens is a part of New Jersey you don't want to be alone too long. And I think, go ahead.
Yeah, we did an episode on this, and we found some video, kind of like laughable, but of a supposed.
See, that's how you know you've got a good paranormal investigator. He's not afraid to poo-poo stuff that's obviously laughable, you know?
Yeah, but we did find this one picture that was interesting. But we talked about it for like an hour straight. I can't even remember what we were talking about. But we talked about the origin of it. We talked basically everything you want to know about the Jersey Devil. We talked about it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Absolutely.
Of course, very prevalent in sporting culture because that's where the New Jersey Devils hockey team gets their name.
Can I ask one of my blue wrenches, please go over to Nick's channel, find that video about the Jersey Devil, and drop the link here for me? I'd really, really appreciate it. But yeah,
get you a better picture. Hold on.
I only wanted to talk about the Jersey Devil because I knew it would poke at Aged Boomer, and because of all the drinks that I was looking at, this looked like one of the tastiest ones I wanted to try, and I had most of the ingredients for it. And I really am kind of enjoying this Jersey Devil drink.
Sounds good.
So I might be a little bit devilish tonight, Netter. You might have to put up with that tonight.
Okay, I think I found the right link. I will post it.
I thank you. Thank you so much.
Give me a moment. I'll see if I can make it better.
You got another one, you think?
A better.
Otherwise, we're going back to Mothman.
We can actually, hold on a sec. Yeah, let me. Okay, we're gonna go back to Mothman. I'll get.
And guys, Mothman, am I correct again on region? This is also northeast.
Here's
Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yes,
West Virginia, so east. Okay.
I can read a bit from the Weird US book on Mothman. Mm-hmm. He seems to be the king cryptid in this book. Only because I guess they didn't want to put the Jersey Devil here because before they made Weird US, they made Weird New Jersey. That was their weird books.
Right.
I think we've already treaded probably all over that. But
is this also an AI?
This was an AI. These turned out rather well.
That's kind of cool. I like the framing that it did. That's neat.
Mothman, the Enigma of Point Pleasant. The story begins on November 12th, 1966, near Clendenin, West Virginia. 5 men were in the local cemetery prepping a grave for burial when something that looked like a brown human being flew over their heads. The men were baffled. It looked like a man with wings. A few days later, more sightings took place, electrifying the entire region. Mothman, as the bizarre beast has come to be called, is one of the strangest creatures to ever grace the annals of weirdness in America. Late in the evening on November 15th, 2 young married couples were driving past an abandoned TNT plant near Point Pleasant, West Virginia, when they spotted 2 large eyes attached to something that was shaped like a man but bigger, maybe 6 or 7 feet tall. It had big wings folded against its back. The couples panicked and sped away, and moments later saw the same creature on a hillside. It spread its wings and rose into the air. They followed in their car, which was now traveling at over 100 miles per hour. That bird kept right up with us, said one member of the group.
Wow.
They would not be the only ones to report the creature that night. Another group of 4 witnesses claimed to see the bird 3 different times. Another sighting had more bizarre results. That same evening, Newell Partridge, who lived 90 miles away, was watching television when the screen went dark. A weird pattern filled the screen, and then he heard a high, loud whine. He heard high, loud whining sounds from outside. Partridge's dog, Bandit, began to howl out on the front porch, and Newell went to see what was going on. When he walked outside, he saw Bandit facing the hay barn. Puzzled, Partridge turned a flashlight in the direction and spotted 2 red circles that looked like eyes or bicycle reflectors. The sight of them frightened him. Bandit, an experienced hunting dog, shot off across into the yard in pursuit of the glowing eyes. Partridge went into the house for his gun, but was too scared to go back outside. The next morning, Bandit was gone.
The dog has no problem rushing it. You go for a gun, and you're too afraid. Screw you, dude. The dog has more invested in this than you do.
Listen, in D&D you have the fear roll, right? That's what happened to the guy.
He rolled a 1 on his
fear roll.
Save versus fear, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anyway, the next morning, Bandit was gone and had still not shown up 2 days later when Partridge read in the newspaper about the sightings in Point Pleasant. One statement in the newspaper chilled him to the bone. Roger Scarberry, a member of the group that spotted the strange bird at the TNT plant, said that as they entered the city limits of Point Pleasant, they saw the body of a large dog lying in the side of the road. A few minutes later, on their way back out of town, the dog was gone.
You have no business owning a gun if you are not going to defend your doggo. I'm just saying, he gave his life defending you.
Okay, listen, Newell Partridge immediately thought it was a bandit who was never seen again. On November 16th, a press conference was held in the county courthouse, and soon news of the strange sighting spread around the world. The press dubbed the creature Mothman after a creature from the Batman television series of the day.
Oh my gosh, there is a Batman villain from Batman. Yeah.
Was he called Mothman on the Adam West show?
It was from the comics.
It's from the comics.
Killer Moth. Yeah.
Yeah, he had like a special gun, didn't he, or something?
I don't know. He was in the NES Batman game. He was one of the bosses you fought.
That makes sense.
First level. And I don't know why, because it was based on the 89 Batman movie, and they just threw Killer Moth.
And real quick, Jesse Guajardo mentions that there's a British version of the Mothman called the Owlman of Monin. And yeah, that is one of the theories, one of the Occam Razor type theories, is that what people are actually seeing is I want to say barn owl, some breed of owl that looks pretty darn large, and when it's coming at you, it might look, if your spatial awareness is off, it could look human sized to you. Those eyes on an owl are reflective, so that would be logical. But I don't know. Boomer, I don't know if you're done reading, but I remember there being something about, and maybe I'm just pulling this from the movie, maybe it's not related to anything from the real world, but that these Mothmen are some sort of a harbinger. They tend to show up before catastrophes like a bridge collapse or something like that.
The Silver Bridge in Point
like
Pleasant.
A banshee?
No. What were you saying, Big Al? You know what it is.
The Silver Bridge collapse in Point Pleasant. It collapsed, killed 40 some people. It was reported that the Mothman had been seen on the bridge itself shortly before that collapse, and it's kind of been integrated into the lore of it all. Yeah. So I'll tell you, of all of the cryptids that have these very fantastical type stories behind them, people talking, because Nick, you were talking about with the Sasquatch, some of the stuff like extra dimensional creatures with cloaking and stuff like that. I think of all the cryptids, if anything like that applied, I'd want to attach that to the Mothman. I could almost see this as like
some sort of humanoid creature in an encounter suit or an environmental suit that, maybe a time traveler or something that shows up at, events.
Oh, interesting. So it'd be like a futuristic suit.
Yeah.
They ripped off on Star Trek Discovery season 2. They call
exactly.
it the Red Angel.
Exactly. Right.
Which I was actually interested in until I found out who
the
it was.
Red Angel.
That makes no sense when I found out who it was. Based on the lore they set up in season 1. I'm not getting off on that tangent. This is a cryptid stream. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
it was another port. There was supposedly Mothman sightings in Moscow before an apartment bombing.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
Was that Chernobyl?
Oh, yeah.
You think about that, huh?
Well, if they were, I can guarantee you the Kremlin would have shut down any stories about that, and anyone who claimed to have seen them would have been just disappeared, relocated.
Just because of paranormal creatures, supernatural. No, they don't exist.
Exactly.
Yes.
Before I go any further, Nick and Al, were there any cryptids that you had on your list that we haven't gotten to yet?
Go Nick.
No, you go ahead. I do have one, but Al, you can go first.
Well, I do want to mention there's a very an excellent Mothman documentary called Mothman of Point Pleasant.
I thought for sure you were going to say the Mothman Prophecies.
No, it's called
as if it was a documentary.
That was a Richard Gere movie.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I did not care for that movie, to be honest with you.
Once again, done by Small Town Monsters. I just am familiar with their stuff.
Right.
Excellent. It's probably one of my favorite. That, along with the Boggy Creek Monster, their documentaries are my two favorite ones.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's very detailed. Goes into a lot. Even talks about the festival that they have every year now. The Mothman Festival are really. If you really want to go into a
they have a statue too, don't they?
Yeah, it's really creepy looking too.
God, yeah,
it's all silver. More of a.
I almost used that as the picture, and then I decided to go with. I started with Mothman. I was like, no, go with the AI thing.
I love that picture. That's a cool picture.
Yeah, you did a good one there. Boomer, yeah.
No, but I almost went with the statue.
Sure.
Yeah. But I see. Thank you. I do have here too a list of all the state cryptids. If you want me to name any, okay.
Okay. Nick, what were you gonna bring up that we hadn't gotten to yet?
Has anyone ever heard of a thunderbird?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is that what you got here?
Yes.
Oh,
see, yeah.
That was my best attempt. Yes, I wanted to do the Thunderbird. That was a big one. Yeah.
So we had this guy reach out on Facebook, and he's from the Bridgewater Triangle area, and he went on like this 10-minute, tangent about a possible Thunderbird sighting that he witnessed. And I tried to pull up the link to it, but he deleted it. But I recorded him on my channel, so his interview still lives forever there. But I have that video I can post somewhere, or if I can bring it up and we can listen to him. I just don't know how to do that on here.
It's on your channel, right?
Yes.
If you want to just drop a link to it, I can just pull it up and open it up.
Okay, let me do that in the chat here.
I'll probably get hit with a copyright strike, so you'll have to clear it for me later.
No, you shouldn't. But it's at 1754 is when he starts. Did it not go through?
You know what? Drop it in the private chat, and that'll be an easier way for me to grab it. Okay. Give me a second. Let me bring this up. And I'll have to take the volume off there. And how far in do I go?
I think it's at the 1750-ish mark.
Okay. Alrighty. What's the best way to do this? Let me
And
blow
you
that
shouldn't
up.
get a copyright strike because the author's right here.
Yeah.
Sometimes YouTube does it automatically, but if I contest it, they'll send you something that says, this guy is copying your right or something, and you can clear it for me.
I'm saying take down the channel.
Take down that bastard. He's a son of a bitch. Let me present video. Give me a second here.
What is Thunderbird the state cryptid of? It's one of them.
That's Northwest, isn't it?
This is Northeast.
Oh, okay.
North Dakota, oddly enough, though it's been seen in many. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it's been seen in many states, though.
Yes, Illinois, Missouri. I don't know where you're saying it was from too, because I think they've been seen around different states.
Wisconsin, I believe, has. I've heard.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me. So this is this channel I keep telling you guys about, Beyond the Hub. Make sure you're subscribed. Nick and his partner Brandon.
Yes.
I don't hear anything.
Not hear anything either.
No audio. Did you share audio?
Are you guys hearing the volume?
No.
Oh shoot. Hold on. Maybe I didn't share audio.
Anyway,
but the Bridgewater Triangle,
yeah.
Maybe you want to tell while Troy's doing that. Do you want to briefly talk to us again about the Bridgewater Triangle, maybe?
I mean, I can bring up this is what I basically the synopsis of a Thunderbird, though, if anyone is curious.
Sure.
It's like a legendary creature that people talk about. It's sort of like a giant bird. We're sharing the.
I'm hearing echoing.
I do.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna mute you guys because while the video's playing, your audio is gonna come through. So let me just mute you guys until after this part. Actually, Nick, I'm gonna leave you on. You will echo, but just so that you can stop me when you think I need to stop.
Okay. I'm not hearing anything still.
You're still not hearing it?
Mm-mm.
I did share the audio. I don't know what else I can do. Hold on. I'll try this one more time.
I'm going to say something that might be dumb. Is the audio on the video itself muted?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm literally hearing it in my ear.
Oh, okay.
So, let me try this one more time.
If not, it's all right. You could just...
Present... The other thing you could do is, well, hold on a second. Let me try one more time, and then I'll suggest what you could try, Nick. Share screen, entire screen. This one right here. Also share audio. Share. I guess I got it back up now.
Interesting. That he
you hearing your
took
own
the time
voice
to make
there, Nick?
this video for us.
Yep. Well, thank
Okay.
you very much. I think it's Harry. His name's
I'm
Harry.
hearing it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to format this. I don't know why it won't. Well, let's click it.
Do you use
I was
OBS?
asked to share my
Yeah.
Thunderbird
Okay, I can
experience
hear it
that I
now.
had when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I call it a Thunderbird because that's what everyone refers it to. However, I look at it more as if it was a very large condor, maybe a cryptid condor of some kind. But here's my story. When I was 14 in the year 1996, many moons ago, me and a childhood friend of mine, we used to ride our bikes on the west side of Brockton, Massachusetts. It's where I grew up. And we used to ride our bikes around the old neighborhood And one particular area where we used to love to ride our bicycles was behind Brockton High School. Used to have old quad trails, which are actually filled in now, but we used to ride up and down the old quad trails, and one day we got off our bikes, I forget why. We were in the sand pit part, and I was talking to my friend Troy, and he looks up in the
Not
sky,
me.
and he goes, "Oh shit," and he runs off into the tall grass. And here I am thinking, well, what does he see? So as I turned around, the trees were blowing like crazy, all the brush was blowing like crazy, all the tall grass, and it sounded like a car driving on all 4 flat tires. And I look up in the sky, and I see this big, massive bird that resembled the condor from King Kong, the original King Kong in, I think, 1930s.
Yeah.
And this bird was flying about 3 stories up. Each wing was probably a little larger than a 78 Lincoln Town Car, for those of you who remember that car. Anyway, his torso was massive, and the creature looked very old. It was missing fur, had patches of fur. The spots that were bald looked like old brown worn-out suede. And I can remember this bird. It was about 3 stories up. It was flying towards me. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh God, this bird is huge. I hope he doesn't mistake me for a worm and scoop me up and carry me on his way. But for some strange reason, this bird, it's very hard to explain. This bird looked like it didn't belong. It saw me, but it's like it wasn't there. Or I wasn't there. It kind of looked like it was looking at me, but beyond me, like I wasn't there. And I just, for some reason, I knew that this bird.
Maybe the bird, the thunderbird he saw was not aware that he himself could see the bird.
Could see him.
Maybe that's why he was looking at him like, that's strange. That human's looking at me. Huh? He can't see me.
He can't see me.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Looking through him, looking past him.
Bird would just continue flying over me. I wasn't really paranoid anymore. And as it flew over me, it had like knotted up fur with twigs caught in it and cobwebs. And again, that's one of the reasons why the creature looked very old. And as it flew over me, the fur went everywhere. Picture a cattail in the marsh. When you open it up, all that fur, all that cotton that goes everywhere, that's what it looked like.
Just pause it right there. If that would have happened to me, I mean, who knows what you actually would do in that situation,
right?
But if there was like literal evidence, or like I seen a Bigfoot, or if I need to see some sort of cryptid or something, I would have grabbed that. I would grab that evidence.
Yeah.
But maybe, who knows what you're going to do in that situation? There could be life or death when you're seeing something real. Like he's experienced something. He's described it in his accounts.
Like if you saw a Bigfoot, let's go scarier. If you saw a dog man or a werewolf, right, and it was, I don't know, 50 yards from you, but you can confirm, like, there's not a
well, first I'd
shadow
mess
of doubt
myself.
that was a dog man.
Then I'd regroup and come up with a better plan.
Would you go to where it was standing to see if you can gather fur or something?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
You're crazy, dude.
Absolutely.
You're crazy.
Because, and then I wouldn't be crazy.
That's I think you're crazy for doing it, but I don't think you're crazy for believing that they're real.
Yeah.
I think that's less crazy.
Let's play on a little bit more. And then we got some other stories from the group.
And the other thing that was weird about this bird was it was very in sync. Each wing flapped at the same time. It never changed altitude. It never went, to the left, to the right. It always stayed on one course. And it flew by me going towards the Hockomock Swamp. Now, what is the Hockomock Swamp? Well, I'll get into that in a minute. So, anyway, my friend Troy came out of hiding, and he's like,
it's still not me.
Harry, did you see the size of that bird? That was massive. And I'm just like, yeah, I saw it. I wasn't scared, even though a little part of me was. So, I want to say the next day, I told my mother about the story, and she thought because I was a young kid, any bird would look, massive in the sky to me. So me and my friend, we kind of forgot about it over the years. We never really talked about it. it was like a forgotten memory. And now this was in 1996. So years later, in 2007, me and a couple buddies of mine, we were bored, and he was my buddy. He was looking up online. He was looking up online.
Goes on about something else.
Okay. Cool. All right.
But I
so
thought that was a
yeah,
really
great
good
story. And he hasn't like reached out to you to take the video down or something like that.
No, he hasn't.
Well, then I wouldn't. If he doesn't, he gave you the interview in good faith, so whatever. No, and I mean I don't disbelieve him. It sounds like a pretty plausible theory. The theory that I've heard from a lot of so just like how Nessie is, some people have theorized might be a plesiosaur that has survived, into the modern day and whatnot. One of the theories is that his theory is that it's a giant condor. So it could be an incredibly large condor or
pterodactyl.
Well, some sort of pterosaur. A lot of people are thinking a creature called the Quetzalcoatlus, which is, of course, named for the mythical Central American deity Quetzalcoatl, which was the flying serpent. This was a real world pterosaur that is the largest known flying creature that ever existed. Did not exist in written history, but may have overlapped with early humans. Apparently extinct, but if they still exist, kind of like the theory with plesiosaur and Nessie, that could be your Thunderbird. Just kind of loving the idea of a giant, like he said, condor. I'm sorry. Let me unmute you guys. I apologize, but you guys would have echoed with the video if I hadn't. Sorry, guys. Anyway.
I was holding my breath this whole time. You have to do that each time you mute.
Did you pass out?
Yeah, I'm joking. No, that was a cool story, though. Yeah, Thunderbirds. I guess they're seen in many different states, but yeah, it's or giant birds. That could be what they call them too. But I know,
you get like a big eagle or like I said a condor, and if they see a small child,
Well, yeah, this
tasty.
This Quetzalcoatlus, they have skeletons of the thing, just like other dinosaurs. Well, it's not really a dinosaur, but
why is this? There's something called an Archaeopteryx, or am I thinking of something?
Is that the first bird, the one that's got claws?
Might be.
Yeah.
They're
fairly small. The Quetzalcoatlus was apparently, when standing on the ground, was as tall as a giraffe. Honestly, I've seen reconstructions of this thing, and I can't fathom how the F this thing flew. But apparently, people that, understand, bird anatomy and, flight mechanics and stuff say, yep, if this thing was alive today, it could fly. It couldn't fly probably very long distances because the amount of calories it would burn flying long distances would be astronomical.
You'd probably have to use the airstream.
A lot of gliding, a lot of updrafts is what the theory is. But the fact is, there's a balancing act you got to do when you're that big as an avian creature. You need enough calories to give you the energy for flight, but you can't have so much in your gut that it weighs you down so that you can't fly. It's and again, this is like real world paleontologists, talking about this creature. So the idea of something like this existing today, maybe smaller, maybe like he said, a giant condor, I'm not opposed to. Could be. We
had a question from Marbles 44, I think, beyond. We got answered though.
According to Dr. Google, Thunderbird should not be confused with the phoenix, even though both are great giant birds of myth. Yeah, the phoenix, of course, that's from... Guys,
Greek.
Is that Greek?
I believe it's Greek, yes.
The idea of a bird that would burst into flames and literally become reborn. There's probably a lot to unpack there. There's probably some symbolism there, perhaps. But
sounds like a Time Lord kind of deal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, exactly. So there you go, Thunderbird. What's up next? What do we got? Well, you know what? I don't want to get too far in because I know that my time is limited with both Nick and Aged Boomer.
No, I don't have to work in the morning.
Oh, I thought you did, but Nick does need to be up
That's
there.
fine. And yeah, like I said, these were just suggestions. I never intended for us to do every one of these, and that was the last remaining ones anyway. There we got some big ones. Yeah.
Am I right? You need to get going pretty soon, right, Nick?
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah.
So, So we've already told the audience where they can find you. I hope by now you guys have already subscribed because you want to support me and you want to support my guests, right? So you've already subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you see his next video pop up next week. Speaking of which, what have you got coming up this week, Nick?
We got that one that you were a little interested in hearing about the lucid dreaming.
Yes.
And
I was in his stream in the chat because I was pretty excited about some of the stuff he was talking about. Lucid dreaming is a bit of an interest to me. It is the low tech version of what do you call it? Immersive virtual reality.
Yeah. That'll be up on Friday.
Okay. A week from today.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. And what are you guys talking about on Monday, or do you not want to say yet?
No, every Monday we do our live with the top 3 or weekly picks from our Facebook group.
There you go. So maybe make sure I don't have access to Facebook, so if someone wants to drop that link, please do so. But follow them on Facebook. Maybe you can contribute to what they talk about on an upcoming Monday stream.
Cool.
Absolutely, we love any story.
There you go. I was telling Nick last week when he was on with us how much I super appreciated his channel. It's fairly new. You've been around for what, a couple months now, right?
Yeah.
But your podcast, much older than that. You've been around for a while.
Channel's been around for a long time, but
there you go.
Recently, we actually started doing something, in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? We've had channels for 5 years, but then, 2 years ago, I said, you know what, let's start doing regular stuff. Maybe try to get monetized or something. Make some money off of this hobby that we do. But definitely go check out that channel. I think, in the words of Netter's guest from last night, definitely a rising star. And you'll want to be in on the ground floor of this channel that I think is just going to be blowing up in the very, very near future. Nick, I want to thank you so much for coming hanging out with us. 2 weeks in a row.
I love it here.
I didn't. A little peek for the audience behind the thing. I failed to follow up with Nick the way I should have after he agreed last week. Yeah, I'll come back for the Cryptids. But then I literally didn't touch base with him again until last night. And I'm like, oh, crap. He's going to have forgotten by now. He may have other plans, which was almost the case, right? Because you had forgotten. But thanks for coming and hanging out with us as long as you could. Any last words before you leave us?
No, thank you, everyone, for being here. And can't wait to check out everyone else's channels, too.
Cool.
Awesome, man. Thanks
Pleasure
again.
meeting you.
And if
Pleasure
we do
meeting
another
you.
one like this, I'll at least extend you an invitation because you are our subject matter expert in the weird, paranormal, and supernatural.
Well, thank you so much.
Basalud.
All right,
Take
have
care,
a good
my
one.
friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 And the rest of you guys, you still got some time Because
Yeah, I got a little bit of time.
I'm looking at, I'm seeing at least 3 more. Well, actually,
2
this
more.
one we've already.
No, but I have a list
We've
too
already-
of the state cryptids. If you want me to get
Well, we're not going to do all 50
We're gonna do
states tonight.
all 50 tonight. We'll be here to 5 in the morning. No,
Well, I'll definitely get my my
I figured I would
streaming
ask.
hours, let me tell you.
I would ask about Illinois for you, and I would ask about where do you live, Al? I'm sorry,
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah,
Oh,
Maryland.
we'll go. Maybe we could do Maryland, and we could do Illinois. I don't have pictures of those things, but I can maybe look for them.
Fair enough.
But did you want to discuss the Thunderbird at all, or I have a thing in my?
Oh yeah, I
have a little thing in Weird US. Here's the thing. Usually
Yeah.
I would go to the library and pick up all sorts of books, but I caught a little bug this week. But luckily, I forgot that I'd ordered these 2 volumes of Weird US, and they had a section here. I was just going on Weird US, like what? You okay?
Yeah, we're fine. Why?
I thought I heard a.
Oh,
I thought Bill.
That was probably the ice cube in my drink.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't know if maybe some evil cryptid doesn't want me talking about this or something. Okay, let's see. This is from Illinois. I'll do an Illinois story for you.
Okay.
Giant swooping birds. One of the best documented encounters with giant birds occurred in 1977 in Lawndale, a small town in Logan County, Illinois. You know where Logan County is?
I do.
Okay. On the evening of July 25th, reports came in of 2 huge birds swooping in the sky. Finally, they headed straight down and reportedly attacked 3 boys who were playing in the backyard of Ruth and Jake Lowe. One of the birds grasped the shirt of 10-year-old Marlon Lowe. The boy tried to fight the bird off, then cried loudly for help. Marlon's mother ran outside to see the bird actually lift the boy 3 feet from the ground and carry him about 35 feet. She screamed, and the bird released the child. Luckily, although scratched and badly frightened, Marlon was not seriously injured. 4 other adults appeared on the scene within seconds of the attack. They described the birds as black, with bands of white around their necks. They had long, curved beaks and wingspans of at least 10 feet. The 2 birds were last seen flying towards some trees near Kickapoo Creek. Ruth Lowe spent long hours looking through the books, certain that the creature had not been a turkey vulture, as an area game warden tried to convince her that it was. I was standing at the door, she told investigators, and I saw Marlin's feet dangling in the air. There are any birds around here that can lift him up like that. Experts tell that there aren't any birds on the North American continent capable of it either, yet something appeared in Lawndale that day and managed to do the impossible, and the Lawndale incidents would not be the last sighting in central Illinois. 3 days later, in McLean County, a farmer named Stanley Thompson spotted a bird of the same size and description flying over his farm close to the radio-controlled airplanes he and his friends were flying. He claimed the bird dwarfed the small plane that buzzed close to it. The next sighting took place near Bloomington, when a mail truck driver named James Majors spotted the 2 birds. He believed they were very large condors. He saw one of them fly into a nearby field and pick up a small animal, which he believed to be a pig. Officials from the Department of Conservation insisted the birds were merely turkey vultures, but wildlife experts and cryptozoologists refute this statement. The only North American bird with a wingspan of up to 9 feet is the California condor, but the condor is an endangered species found only in a few areas in California. There is little chance that a few stray birds traveled to Illinois to attack small children. Another witness reported looking out the window of her home near Chester and saw a huge bird nesting in the top of a tall tree in her backyard. The bird was much larger than any she had ever seen before. A few minutes later, it flew off, gliding toward the Mississippi River. Its wingspan, she guessed, was at least 10 to 15 feet. After the rash of 1977 bird sightings in Illinois, after that, the rash of 1970 bird sightings in Illinois came to an end. What do you think?
So here's the first thing that I would say about the theory that it couldn't possibly be a condor, a California condor.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a bird, if you have any species that is endangered, why is it endangered? Usually because their territory is being encroached on, they're running out of prey, so on and so forth. So what happens with populations that find themselves endangered that way? They move territory. So I would not be too surprised if we were to find out that the condors had migrated east. Entirely possible. So there's one plausible explanation. The other thing, and this might kind of sound like I'm raining on people's stories, and but I am going for the whole Occam's razor thing.
Yeah.
What if they exaggerated the size? Because there's
because they saw from a distance, maybe.
I was gonna say there's bald eagles and there's gold eagles. I think is that what they're called? Gold eagles or gold-headed beagles, eagles that are like larger.
Golden eagles, I think.
Yeah, whatever it is that's on the flag of Mexico, they're actually bigger than bald eagles, and maybe that's what you say. And these bigger birds of prey, hawks, condors, eagles, have been known to swoop down and pick up cats, dogs, babies. It's horrific, but it happens. So, and let's face it. I don't care what species you're talking about, whether it's a rat, a bird, or a human. Sometimes you get aberrations. Once however many generations, someone will have this mutation. It'll just be humongously larger than others.
Yes.
It
what
happens.
of the children? Almost flew off with a kid.
I'll tell you what, any kid that can't fight off a bird, well, that's just Darwin. In the future generations, we'll have bigger, stronger babies, bigger, stronger humans.
That's something the Scrooge would say. What are you doing?
The surplus.
Yeah, now you're thinking, Scrooge McDuck, he would say something like that.
All right. Exactly.
I will say, because we got, turkey buzzards. I've seen some big turkey buzzards.
Yes, they if you don't live in an area where these birds are indigenous and you've never seen one yourself, you don't realize how big these suckers get. And then someone tells you a story, someone from that area goes, "Yep, seen them all the time myself." And other people are going, "Oh, you're crazy, you're drunk, you're making up stories."
And I used to live in a trailer with a metal roof, and when you get a couple of those suckers walking around that roof, it just sounds like the world's about to end.
So, have you guys seen the movie? I don't remember what it's called, but it was clearly inspired by Hitchcock's The Birds. It's a really low budget, really bad film. It's probably out there on Tubi, about some people being attacked by these birds, and it's all CG, and the CG is just the absolute worst thing.
It's called Turkey Shoot or something? I mean,
no,
I don't know.
It was called I want to say it was like Bird Attacks or something like that. Anyway, the only reason I bring that up is because the Corridor Crew took and redid it.
Flip this bird the bird and you're done for. Like, I don't know.
They took and they redid all the CG in all the key scenes, and it actually looked really good. But one of the guys in the Corridor Crew is friends with the main actress from the movie, and they asked her to come do a pickup shot so that they could give her like a big final boss type battle scene or whatever. So they just had to get her saying a few, snappy one-liners, and then they created a boss bird for her to fight. It was like this big old humanoid bird creature.
It was disturbing.
It was disturbing. It was funny, but it was good.
Birdemic, Shock and Terror. I'm just looking at Birdemic 2, The Resurrection, Birdemic 3, Seagull.
If it was, I did not know there were sequels. Let me see if I could find it, because
Terror Birds. It actually has Greg Evigan in it.
Holy crap! There's a lot of bad bird attack movies.
I love this one. Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead.
I can guarantee you that wasn't it, but now I'm curious. Let me check my viewing history. I know if I search here, Corridor Crew, it's gonna be here.
Yeah, we just watched it last night.
Claw.
That's right, we did.
Claw.
Here it is. VFX fixes. Let's see. It doesn't. Does it say this episode inspired by one of the worst movies of all time? Yes, you were right. Birdemic, Shock and Terror. Oh my gosh! So I am going to go ahead and drop this in the chat if you guys want to see. This is the Corridor Cruise fixing it up. You could do your own search to find the movie if you want to see this POS film. Corridor Crew does a great job of taking bad CG and, well, at least improving it. But, yeah, Birdemic. Oh, my God.
There you go. Maybe made during...
No, I am not going to do a Monday night watch party of Birdemic.
I like that title. Come on.
It is a good title, but no, I'm not sure I even want to watch it. Maybe if Big Al bites the bullet and tells me I should see it, I'll Ouija shark it. But other than that, I have no intent.
I warned you about Ouija shark. I did not say watch Ouija shark.
He keeps trying to, but I watched it, and I as bad as it was, I am not complaining. We've gotten a lot of mileage out of that POS film.
There is some entertainment value in a lot of bad movies out there.
You are not wrong, my friend. You are not wrong.
Anyway, Troy, I thought you'd be excited because these were bird sightings in your state, the giant bird thing,
I did not know that. For some reason, I thought they were more like Washington, Oregon.
But they're all over the place. That's the thing. It's not just Illinois. It's other states.
And that's the thing. It's harder to believe, a giant plesiosaur lives in Loch Ness than a giant bird lives throughout the Midwest and West of the United States. That's a little bit more believable. If you're that big a creature, you're going to have a wide range, right? Mark Melnikoff, Kapla, home from Aurora Penthe. Pay no attention to the Romulan debris floating around my ship. No,
hey.
You need to sing songs about your great victory over the Patah.
Hey, there you go. It was the Klingon bird of prey when the cloaking device.
There you go. There you go. They were a little bit too far east. They had to get closer to California because they needed to get themselves a couple humpback whales.
Yes, there you go.
That's what it was.
Oh boy.
What else we got? Big L, was there another one you wanted to cover?
Well, we've covered like the main ones, but there is one that I've recently saw.
What is it?
A film on. It's called Ogo Pogo.
What is Ogo?
I've heard you mention this before.
Wait a minute. I'll send something up to put.
You got one? Okay.
I think it's another.
Ogo Pogo is a lake monster.
Yeah.
It is a lake monster in Lake Okanagan in Canada, and it's one of those creatures it's supposedly kind of was deified. Well, I don't know if deified is the right word. Demonic in nature, supposedly.
What?
That they would sacrifice animals to it in Lake Okanagan in order to be able to cross the lake in their canoes. The indigenous peoples at the time. Well, there was one. I don't know if he was a visiting chief or one chief decided this is silly and sets course across the river only to have a giant tail swipe and destroy the canoe and drag everybody down to its death. But Ogopogo's another giant snake-like or dinosaur-like creature living in, I think it's British Columbia.
I've heard of Ogopogo, actually.
Yeah.
That was
Welcome, Six. Yeah, we were talking more generally about Nessie at the top of the show, but
This is
Big
just
Al's,
the generic Nessie picture.
we're realizing that, and somebody else talked about one in Chesapeake Bay called Chessie.
Chessie, yes, that's
So-
my uncle, my late uncle, says he saw Chessie. He was in his boat. He was fishing, and he saw this wake, like off to the side of the boat, not part of his wake in the boat. And he said that this snake-like head kept poking out. He didn't know what it was, and he's like, "It's too big to be an eel. It's too big to be all this other stuff." And he said that it kind of wormed its way, like, was swimming through the water like a snake.
Sure.
And just eventually went into the depths.
And Connie is saying that there's a similar one called Champy in Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
So here's a theory for you. What if they're all the same creature?
What?
And all these lakes are connected, and it's moving around between all these different lakes, and then it goes.
It's hollow Earth theory. They're like going all under the earth and everything.
Well, this would actually require an ocean crossing then, because it would have to go to all these lakes in North America and then cross over to Scotland. But maybe he's got a vacation home there or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lake monsters all over the place. I mean,
yeah.
Even like Lake Erie supposedly has a lake monster, and God, there, like I said, there's Champ, Ogopogo. There's the Caddy, which is in the Pacific Northwest in the ocean area. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Like I said, Chessie, but like almost any lake in America or around the world. There's one in Sweden that's supposed to be very significant. I don't know what the name of the lake is though.
One of these was spotted in Florida too, near the Gulf Coast near Pensacola. Sea serpents.
But it was blown up on land by a hurricane, so forget that one.
Wisconsin, Neville's
all over
Lake
the place.
in Wisconsin, Lake Simcoe in Ontario.
There's a Bear Lake monster that Samuel's bringing up. At the top of Utah, Bear Lake has had sightings of a similar creature going back to the 1860s, and even from the Utes before. See, here's the thing: when you have stories going back to the 1860s,
that's the state cryptid, Bear Lake monster.
The problem there is the problem with the theory that people are just stealing stories from other places. Back in the 1860s, they didn't have like the internet, right? These stories didn't get around that quickly. So the idea that they might be stealing from other states or from Nessie or whatever seems very unlikely. So I think there's something more to these lake creatures.
Yeah, the Lagerfret worm in Iceland.
Al mentioned, maybe like these some kind of giant freshwater eels or something like that. Or, there could just be the concept of this body of water is just so huge. I know, just from boating, you get this existential feeling as you go out on a deep body of water like this. Just imagine what's beneath you in that vast water, right? If suddenly all the water just disappeared from the lake, you are hovering thousands of feet above land. There's so much that could be going on in that water that you cannot see. So much that could be hidden there. That existential dread, when you start to think about that, is going to have you imagining all kinds of stuff down there.
The Great Salt Lake in Utah has they call the great brine shrimp, also called old briny. A North Shore monster, monster crocodilian, or monster
Dude,
shrimp-like
that would be-
crustacean.
It's a giant shrimp.
That's what one of them says. A shrimp-like.
I was gonna say
Hey.
I could see a giant croc, but if it's a giant a crustacean of some kind, I don't buy it because someone would have caught and ate that thing by now.
Can you imagine the shrimp scampi you could make out of that?
I'm just saying, right?
That's a lot of linguine you'd need, right?
You know, there's a lot of those vegans online that try to dissuade you from eating shrimp and crab and stuff and say that's just water cockroaches, and I'm like, well, they're the damn yummiest
Very
water
yummy.
cockroaches I've ever eaten.
Cockroaches tasted like that. People be eating them.
Right? You know, everybody's trying to get you to eat the bugs. If you prepared the bugs like lobster, I'd be all over that crap. Let me tell you.
My favorite scene in that show where Gordon Ramsay travels around the world finding what the locals eat. They'll have one where like, hey, we eat this insect, try it, and he puts it in his mouth and spits it right out.
Six, as long as you're not trying to dissuade me from my yummy, yummy meat, I'm totally fine with that. I'm just saying that there are a lot of rando vegans that I've run into on the interwebs that don't know me, that I don't know them, and they want to pontificate to me what I can and can't eat.
But here's the deal: are insects, is that vegan eating bugs anyway?
No.
Yeah,
vegan
so
would be eating absolutely nothing that's an animal product. That would include eggs, that would include milk, cheese, butter, anything.
But here's what I understand: when they're always pushing the bug eating, I'm thinking, oh, they're wanting us to stay. No, but they're not telling you to. They're not recommending the vegan diet to you, which would be, I guess,
no, they're not.
Other sources of protein like beans and stuff. Which I don't. So I don't know what the bug obsession is, except that I think it's a giant test to see how much crap we'll take from. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
No. I'm combining two different things here. Don't get confused.
Yes.
The eat the bugs crowd is these globalists that want to depopulate the world and thinks that there's too many people in the world. We shouldn't be eating cows because they take up too much resources. If you need protein, eat bugs instead. That's
we
what
weren't
that
meaning to
is.
conflate vegans with pushing.
That is not the same thing as vegans. It's completely not, because a vegan would not be eating the bugs either. Here's the other thing, and this is where, this is just science. This is the connection between the shrimp and when they say shrimp are water cockroaches, they're kind of right, because if you ate a cockroach and you were allergic to shellfish, you would have the exact same reaction, because the same material that their shell is made out of is what they're allergic to. So you can't eat the bugs if you are allergic to shellfish. Just saying.
So.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I didn't. That's not what I was saying. I was
that's what I was
explaining that vegans don't eat any animal products at all, including things like milk or.
Yeah, I saw
whatever.
The comment. That's why
I suspect, and tell me if this is true for you or not, Six, that a vegan doesn't even wear leather, doesn't wear wool. I guess you'd only have you'd only use cotton and
denim.
and
Is
plant
denim
fibers. Denim is cotton, yes. Okay. Oh yes, I am a big proponent of cotton. Cotton as a natural fiber is I personally think the best.
A denim jacket I liked a lot.
I love denim.
I want a denim jacket.
It is the best. I think it is one of the greatest inventions of the 19th century.
Aging boomer. I used to have a nice denim jacket. Oh man, I just liked wearing that.
Yeah, I look good in a denim jacket.
Mark, you say that, but some of your friends up there in across the maple curtain claim to be vegan Klingons. Anyway. I don't know how that works, but there you go.
You did have a vegan version of the dish, though, didn't you?
Yeah. I see. Wow, you really listen. So yeah, I before the disease that shall not be named hit us. I used to do a Klingon gathering every year at my house, and right, okay. So see, I knew what I was talking about. I used to do a gathering here of the Klingons every year. And actually, I think you might be conflating two different stories. So when I used to make gach,
Yes,
right?
that's what I'm talking about.
Gach, just by coincidence, I made vegan because okay, so in Klingon lore, gach is serpent worms, and I wasn't going to serve any kind of worms to I was trying to serve actual palatable foods.
Yes.
So the option is buckwheat noodles, soba, and Japanese wheat noodles, which is udon, and you do a stir fry with soy sauce and different vegetables and whatnot.
Ginger too, or was it? Yeah.
I didn't use ginger, but
Okay.
now that you mention it,
maybe
that
you
actually
shouldn't, I
sounds
don't
like it
know.
would be really, really
Yeah,
good. But I
It
had
looked like
one
the
of
actual thing. Yeah.
one of the Klingons that used to come to my house every year for this was allergic, like actually allergic to onions, and I used to chop up onions. So I would make her a whole separate batch that had no onions in it. Because it was a stir fry, I often used eggs, but that particular year I didn't use any eggs, and I was like, hey, I just realized I made a vegan dish because I didn't use eggs this year. Vegetable oil, yeah, there was nothing, there was no animal products in it whatsoever. But the other story that I told, completely unrelated to the Klingons, was I went to I think it was a solstice fest right around Christmas time, and I brought fruitcake, but because there was a lot of vegans that were going to be attending, I had to find substitutes for eggs. I think eggs was the only thing in it that would have made it non-vegan.
Yeah.
So I substituted banana. And I was like, banana actually sounds like a brilliant ingredient for a fruitcake. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
The consistency wasn't the same, but it was good. It was good.
It was
I've heard of people using applesauce.
Welcome, Scott Hughes. I haven't seen you in a while. So glad to see you. 1989, denim jacket misted with Drakkar Noir. There you go. There you go.
That was my favorite scent back in the day.
I like Drakkar Noir too. Yeah.
I used to have to model the stuff.
I super appreciate that, Mark. You have said that. You have said that before. And I would make a special batch for the Admiral, just to have as the take home.
Shouldn't if you're a Klingon, shouldn't it be your gak is to kill for instead of to die for?
Solstice, not salsa. But now I'm thinking I could totally see doing a salsa fest, maybe around Cinco de Mayo.
That sounds like fun, actually.
God, now we've gotten off the topic of cryptids. We're talking
figured
food now.
Figured we could end maybe.
Okay.
Not with these other two. We could save those for others.
Sure.
Okay. I don't. Unless Al wanted to talk about the Goat Man or the Lizard Man, but I figured we could save those. If we ever have, what?
We can save those. So
if we ever have
another time, sure.
Goat Man's a big Maryland one.
I'll do the Maryland one. I want to ask Big Al about that. I don't have a picture, but maybe we could just I could ask Big Al. Maryland is Chessie. Did you already mention Chessie?
Yeah, we did mention Chessie.
Okay, so Chessie is
real quick,
the state cryptid of Maryland.
Yes, Drakkar. Yep. Yeah, when I was in college, I will admit this. I did use Axe body spray. I know it has a bad reputation, but I did not use it the way, so many preteens did. I used it the way a body spray is intended to be. I never lit it on fire either. I never thought about that until I heard more recently that's what kids were doing with it.
Because they're stupid?
Because that's what kids do. But I had one particular Axe body spray that I loved the scent of, and they stopped making it, and that really upset me. So it was called Essence.
We still have some of that.
Yeah, we do have some, but they stopped making it. Yeah. So
when I was working at the high school, and those boys thought that Axe body spray was the key to getting the girls. Oh my Lord, they were.
I graduated high school in '89, so I attended college 89, 90. Well, right up to 92
I guess
when
it
I
was
got
around
married.
back then too, wasn't it? They were probably
Yeah, it
advertising.
absolutely was. And salute to the Clue Channel. Welcome,
They got
welcome.
rid of those commercials after a certain something.
There is a couple of YouTube videos
They
I
got rid
just
of
watched recently that talked about the rise and fall of Axe body spray. Yeah,
I should watch that.
it still exists, but most of what Axe is selling now is like body wash and stuff like that. But it still exists.
I did want to ask Troy here
Mm-hmm.
about the state cryptid of Illinois. And I don't know if you know what this is, but I want to ask you.
I don't know off the top of my head, but if you
It's
mention it, I'll tell you
called-
if I know what it is.
It's called, and I don't know, so you may have to fill us in because I've never heard of this, but it's intriguing. It's called the Enfield Horror. The Enfield Horror.
I know that.
What is that?
I
That
know
sounds
that.
horrifying. I don't, because the horror's in the title.
Heard of that?
The Enfield Horror. I don't know what that is. It's probably in your Weird Illinois book, I'm sure, but
It probably is, but it's easier for me to look it up
Yeah, just
on
look
the
it up online.
Cryptid
Maybe
Wiki.
yeah, Cryptid
During the 1970s, wow, this is my stomping grounds here, temporally speaking.
Here, I'll get rid of this.
Something horrible stalked the small town of Enfield, Illinois. Although Illinois is already home to phenomena such as strange lights, phantom black panther, I never heard of that one, and thunderbirds, we just talked about. Something even stranger briefly haunted the people of this town. On April 25th, 1973, I was about 2 years old, so Henry McDaniel was among the first to encounter the terrible aberration, the Enfield Horror. At about 9:30 that night, McDaniel and his wife had returned home and were greeted by their two children, Lil and Henry. The kids proceeded to tell them the tale about how something had tried to get into the house, scratching at the door. Shortly thereafter, Henry was alerted to a peculiar scratching sound at his front door. He expected to see a dog or a cat, but there he met instead. What he met was far stranger. What Henry found, to his terror, was a creature that, and this is in quotes, had 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 little short arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. It stood 4.5 feet tall and was grayish colored. It was trying to get into the house. Close quote. Henry was completely mortified by the sight of this horrible apparition, slammed the door, and rushed to grab his .22 pistol and a flashlight. Henry proceeded to fire on the creature 4 times, and according to him, when I fired that first shot, I know I hit. The beast hissed at him.
Yikes.
Most sources say that it sounded rather like a wildcat, and proceeded to bound away in long leaps across the yard, eventually becoming lost in McDaniel's sight as it made its way towards the railroad and the cover of the trees. He asserted that he had seen the thing cover 50 feet in 3 leaps. Stunned by the encounter, Henry proceeded to call the police. Upon investigation, the state troopers discovered a series of scratches in the siding of the house and footprints that were very similar to a dog's, but having 6 toes instead of 4. 2 of the tracks were 4 inches wide, with the print left by a third foot that was similar. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, it goes on for a bit, but that's the basic story.
That's a
I had
little-
never heard this before.
Well, that's your state cryptid. That's a little creepy, isn't it?
That is pretty damn weird. I'd never heard this before.
I was looking at some of the images of it. And it's like, yeah.
It looks like a Dungeons and Dragons creature, and I don't mean like the cool ones. I mean the weird ass ones that showed up in the first edition Monster Manual.
Some of them look like a Lovecraftian horror, and other ones look like they make it look cute. It's got like three legs and a big old smile.
Well, first thing I think is, could this be some natural creature? 3 legs, yeah. There's plenty of dogs and cats that have lost a leg. He said it sounded like a wildcat. Maybe it was a wildcat. It was gray skin. Okay, maybe it had mange. I do try to find the rational explanation, especially when you don't have something that's been seen many, many, many times. Something that's so new that it was first seen in 1973, I start going, Scott Hughes graduated in 1990, had a perfect youth, old enough to experience the original Star Wars. It was at the drive-in. Yeah, I went to a drive-in in Ohio with my uncle to see it. Perfect music for teenagers, 84 to 90. Yeah, Age of Boomer and I have done some 80s,
yes.
Recalling the music of the 80s and recalling movies of certain years. Yeah.
Weird, because I think I hit teenager at 1990, so
yeah,
I was dealing with more of the alternative music from the 90s.
We also did a whole show about malls. We've talked about malls
we
too.
Did malls
our
once,
memories about malls.
Yeah, the mall was
Let's
a huge
go
deal.
to the mall today. Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother, right?
Yes, very good. Oh, very good. I'm
Mulder's character, right?
Yes.
Yes, who did the music video. Because she was from Canada, so... And what's interesting about How I Met Your Mother, people forget this, that Canada, back in the 80s, that was near the border. It might as well have been on another continent, because it wasn't like today where we have the internet where Canadians and Americans and everyone, we talk to each other all the time and do videos. The old days, though, it was the culture was a lot more separate. So theoretically, she could have been famous in Canada as a teenager, and no one in New York, from those days would have ever heard of her. Do you understand? That's why it makes sense on that show. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and 6, I may be misremembering it. I don't know. You might be right. But, well, see, that you're absolutely right. Unless you were literally moving between the United States and Canada, which, you didn't do without a passport and without, you didn't just, Although, have you seen the video of the girl who is standing at the Canadian border? And she goes, "Look, I'm in the U.S. Look, I'm in Canada. Look, I'm in the U.S. Look, I'm in Canada." The next video is a Korean kid. He goes, "Look, I'm in South Korea. Look, and he's in heaven." He goes, sorry, that's a little dark, but it was funny.
Well, especially since North Korea just murdered 30 kids for watching a South Korean K-pop video.
Wow. Yeah. No, they have very, very strict censors in North Korea, and
the punishment, that's outrageous.
That's what I mean. That's that totalitarianism, right? That we really, really should be concerned about. When you have some celebrity saying "screw your rights," I say go fucking move to North Korea. That's what I say. Anyway, getting off topic there, but I had not heard about this. I had heard the Enfield horror. I did not know that's what it was. Yeah. So that I guess I thought the Enfield horror was like some sort of demon possession kind of situation. I didn't realize
I thought it was a haunting.
I think because that's what The Conjuring 2 was based on, but it was Enfield, England. This must be a different Enfield.
Ah, there we go. See, there's my confusion.
I heard Enfield, I was thinking a football field.
Yeah. Oh, that's the end zone, yeah.
It was the Enfield Poltergeist was the plot of the second movie. That's what I heard, but that was in England, so London, I think. So
Scott, I don't know, how close is that to Mansfield, Ohio? Because if it's reasonably close, then it's entirely possible that was the drive-in I went to. Because there wasn't a drive-in in Mansfield. Mansfield's, you sneeze going through it and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
So, what was this? Oh, I believe in the First and Second Amendment, but same thing. Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, so so we got your Florida one, Boomer. You gave me the Illinois one. Big Al, is there one?
He did Chessie. That's why he wanted to bring up the Loch Ness thing again, because of
there you go.
So yeah.
And then of course Sasquatch. That's like all of North America.
Yeah.
I think especially Canada and the Northwest. But
they've seen him up there in Canada too. Yeah.
Oh, and there was an Enfield that was the British car. Okay, well there you go.
There you go.
I'm sure there have been plenty of sightings of those.
Your guest you had on earlier, he should have a Canadian guest on sometime talking about Canadian cryptids. That might be an idea. I should have mentioned that.
Oh yeah, maybe I can reach out to Rambling Canuck or somebody.
Yeah, that might be an idea, because we always think about United States, but of course Canada probably has a ton of cryptids too.
Yeah. Like
all over the place.
Theoretic mythical creatures like the honest politician. I am going to have to try more of those drinks, by the way, Big Al. Thank you for bringing that.
No problem.
Politics comes from the Latin poly, which means many, and ticks, which are blood-sucking insects. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
I love it. I should have seen that one coming. That's brilliant.
I think I got that from one of the puppet comedians.
I love it. That is just brilliant. That is just absolutely brilliant. Oh. You weren't bothered by the First and Second Amendment. You were bothered by Mark's comment about malls. Yeah, I kind of was too. Mark, you fogey. And the Enfield rifle. How did I not think of that? And Patrick Burt, welcome. If you've been hiding here and didn't speak up, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. I wonder if, it jumped on me. I wonder if Bigfoot needs to deal with custom agents when crossing the border. No, I think that he is so good at hiding. He's going back and forth across that border and we don't even know. I'll betcha, just lurking. Well, I hope that you've been lurking and enjoying. Well, I guess you wouldn't still be here if you weren't enjoying yourself. So I super appreciate you being here. And, okay, so I am going to start winding it down. We're going on, we're going on midnight here. It's already tomorrow over there for you two. So,
seriously, we've been going for 3 hours?
We're coming up on midnight, yeah. So, let's do this.
Fascinating stuff.
We should probably start with Big Al, because he's got the next stream that I know of. Big Al, what do you got going on tomorrow night?
Well, tomorrow night on Films with Friends, we're going to be watching the 80s classic John Cusack film, Better Off Dead, which is one of my favorites from back in the day.
Yeah, I can't even remember if I've seen that one or not.
I keep confusing it with the Elton John song.
Better Off Dead, yeah. I remember, the only thing that I remember about that is Diane Franklin, who, let's face it, everybody of my age had a crush on her. Every movie she was in, and let me tell you, at 62 years old, she's still looking smoking hot.
Better Off Dead has quite the cult following, and they have conventions.
Really?
Where they had one where it was her, the guy who plays the bad guy, Amanda Weiss, the $2 kid.
Isn't the actor who played Booger in Revenge of the
Yes,
Nerds?
Curtis Armstrong, yeah.
Yeah, Curtis Armstrong was there as well. And
Amanda Weiss, yeah.
Yeah, she's another one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The 80s girls that are
so
think so fondly of.
You know, and the thing is, someone from our age, we think, oh, gosh, whatever happened to so-and-so? Oh, gosh, I'm afraid to see what she looks like. Then you see a recent picture, and you're like, holy cow!
Yeah.
Yep.
No kidding. What the hell happened to me?
Of course, also has a controversial figure in it. Guy who plays Ricky, Dan Schneider, been in a lot of controversy lately with the whole Nickelodeon stuff.
Yeah. I'd forgotten he was in it too. Yeah,
that was before.
He was a regular teen actor, though. I mean, he was on that Head of the Class show for a while too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
E.G. Daly's in it. Oh, E.G. Daly. She's another one that was.
Actually, to be fair, if you look at his character in Better Off Dead, though, it's just
Ricky.
Oh
Seems
yeah.
weird.
Oh no.
But yeah, Better Off Dead. That's tomorrow night, 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al's channel. Netter and I will be joining him for that. Kind of looking forward to that. Let's see. Then Sunday, of course, over on Deleted Scenes, Western Cinema Presents, followed by Unscripted, which I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing he might get a little bit ranty about a particular topic from the news today that I know that Age Boomer and I will be talking about.
I think I know
teasers.
what we'll be talking about on Sunday.
We've got at least 3 articles about the Rust shooting and the fallout from that.
There we go.
We will be probably almost certainly talking about that.
Of course, rest in peace, Shelley Duvall.
Oh yes,
Yeah, she's in there. Yeah.
You know, we talk about all of the fan castings of live action comic characters and so forth. Shelley Duvall was Olive Oil.
She was born to play that part.
She was Olive Oil. She, we'll be definitely giving her a send up on Sunday. Of course, not only that, but Shelley Duvall's what was it? Fairy Tale Theater. I think that was what
I
HBO.
remember Fairy Tale Theater. No, that was Showtime.
Showtime.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Showtime. Yeah. I loved that. Some of my favorite interpretations of the fairy tales. There was a great version of Puss in Boots with, what was that dancer's name? He was in White Knights.
Barishnikov?
No, the other guy.
Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines. Yes, he played Puss in Boots.
You know?
Yeah, who does
Hey,
look like our
Troy.
friend Dave Reed. Yeah.
I think we have our good old days topic, Fairy Tale Theater. I think we'll do that.
Oh
Does
yeah.
that sound-
Okay.
if you feel like
okay.
talking
Good.
about
Good.
that, yeah.
Oh no problem. I'm
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
to go into it right now. So yeah.
Why don't we
that'll
do that on Sunday? Yeah,
That'll
fun.
be Geeky Geezers 8 Central, 9 Eastern on Sunday, and then of course we'll wind down our weekend with. Deleted Scene says he may do a separate video about it. I know it's a topic that he feels strongly about. I do too. So definitely be looking forward to that. But we will end the weekend with Deleted Scenes as we usually do for The Other Side of Midnight. That's The Other Side of Midnight Eastern Time, a little bit after 11 here in the Central Time Zone. Monday night, you going to be able to join me, Boomer, on Monday night maybe?
I think so. Maybe not for both, but definitely
Tentatively?
one.
Okay.
Okay. But I'll
So-
talk to you more about Sunday. It depends on how I'm feeling, but I'm feeling better. It's just that I do have
Good,
to work
good.
the next day. So maybe
No,
I
I understand.
What are you doing? 2 movies? You're doing Karate Kid 1 and 2?
We're doing Karate Kid 1 and 2 because on
Right.
Thursday,
Right.
the first half of the last season of Cobra Kai is going to be
premiere.
dropping. So
yeah, let me talk to you on Sunday. I mean, I'll definitely be able to make for one of them. What time does
Sure,
it start? 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
No. We'll be starting 8 Central, so that's 9 Eastern.
Yeah, let me think about it. I know I could probably at least do one.
Sure.
But I'll know more by Sunday. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Awesome. So that's Monday night at the movies here on my channel. Tuesday, we mentioned earlier, live from Sparkwood and 21, episode 3 of the 3rd season of Twin Peaks, which they call Twin Peaks: The Return. That will be over on Deleted Scenes channel. We will be watching the 1 hour episode and doing a bit of a deep dive. We spent longer on the last 2 episodes just because it's a newer series and there's a lot there. There's a lot of lore to pick apart. So we're really kind of getting into it. So that is 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes channel. Thursday, Netter, what are we doing on Thursday for Thursday Things?
Thursday Things, my special guest will be Dead Man Walking 55. He is a returning guest. We actually had Mrs. Dead Man Walking 55 on a few weeks ago. So now it's time for the Mister's point of view.
Yep. We'll get caught up with him. And that's Thursday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Followed by Deleted Scenes weekend update, where he basically, will let you know what he's got coming up for that weekend. And that brings us around to next Friday, where right here, last call, myself, Aged Boomer, Netter.
Films with Friends at 8 before you.
Oh, I'm sorry, because that's Netter's week. I forget, see, because it's every other week. Let's back up. What time does that start?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be joined by Deleted
So 7 our time.
We're going to be watching the film Deep Rising, starring Treat Williams and Famke Janssen. It is a Deleted Scenes pick.
Is this one of those underwater type things?
It's a cruise. They find a cruise ship abandoned.
That's not good.
Duh.
Is this one?
It's a monster. There's a monster involved. I have not seen it. This is one that was suggested by.
That's
Deleted
creepy.
Scenes.
No, I have not seen this.
Sounds very cool. So
okay, so that's what 8 your time, 7 our time.
Yes.
Okay, then followed by last call, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, where we will be talking about Cobra Kai. We won't be doing a review of the new season because I won't have had a chance to watch it in 24 hours. But we're going to kind of...
no, because we'll be too busy watching my South Korean dramas that I'm watching.
That's right. I'm behind on a season of a Korean drama that Netter's watching. So we will kind of talk about Cobra Kai, kind of bring you up to date on it for those of you that are going to start watching season 6. And that brings us around to next Saturday. Netter, your retro cinema for next week is... I think I know, but I'm not 100% certain.
Hold on. It's like my...
Dreamcatcher.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
so it's the Stephen King film Dreamcatcher, which I know I saw. We've got it on DVD, obviously, but I don't remember it very clearly. So we will we'll get caught up on it together a week from Saturday. Well, a week from today now for most of us.
Isn't that the one that had a Matrix short attached to it? Never went to see it for the Matrix short.
Not
supposed to lead in. It had something on it that had people. Yeah, it was because Matrix, the sequel to Matrix coming out, and they made a little animated short that was supposed to lead into it.
See.
And they showed that before Dreamcatcher. I remember.
Yeah, I didn't see it in theaters, so I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
wouldn't have
that short eventually made it onto the Animatrix. But yeah, they. I think that was a big draw for people going to see Dreamcatcher, was they got a little glimpse into the Matrix again. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm guessing the Deleted Scenes remembers it better than I do, because he says Dreamcatcher is different. I remember there being lore about the Dreamcatchers, and I think some Native American mythology and whatnot, but beyond that, I can't remember the details. I really can't. But and Deleted Scenes, thank you for dropping all those links. That is very, very helpful. And I think that's the week in review from my perspective. Have I missed anything? Let's go around the horn, starting with Big Al. Big Al, any last thoughts, last words, anything I missed that you wanted to cover?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on here. Of course, I love talking about cryptids and monsters and anything paranormal, actually. But keep tuned for my channel. Got some reviews up. One for Flying Me to the Moon and Space Cadet. You can really skip Space Cadet, trust me. And like I said, tomorrow night, Better Off Dead. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And what people may not realize is this picture of Al here. He actually posed for that. This is what he really looks like naked. So just so you know. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. But there we go. Boomer, what have I missed that I didn't cover?
I think you covered everything except for the not this Sunday's Geek Eaters, but the following Sunday's Geek Eaters, where you'll apologize everybody after the finale of the Acolyte premieres, and people see it as brilliant, and you'll be singing his praises. You don't think it's going to happen? No? Okay.
I've been watching it. I will be putting out a 10-word review.
Okay, well, wait for the last episode out.
Here's my problem.
I have to wait till the last.
Everybody's got their problems with this Acolyte show and everything. I'll tell you what my problem with it is. I heard that they had hired an intimacy coordinator, right? Then I hear there's going to be space lesbians. And I'm like, I'm all for this. And that's not how it went. I'm like, okay, screw you. I'm so disappointed. I want nothing to do with this show.
And I wouldn't have had anything to do with it.
Well,
anyway.
I know it's not your
I do want to. So before I forget, I want to thank Boomer for finally getting in touch with me.
Yes.
And 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to be watching 2 more episodes
of Robin of Sherwood. Yes.
The first 2 episodes of season 2.
Yeah, yep. I figure we need to get back to it, especially before school starts.
Yep, and in the coming weeks, and in the coming weeks, Boomer and I are also going to be getting with deleted scenes. We will probably, I think, 2 weeks from tonight. I think is when we're looking at. We're going to get back to Outer Range and do a little bit of catch you up on that series because that second season dropped.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, that's it from me. Netter, you want to take us out?
I don't know if I got enough ammo, but I'll try.
Ammo's expensive these days. You got to make it count.
Yes. So please do make sure that you are subbed to every member of the panel as well, or a member of the chat. And if you think you're subbed, please go back and double check that you're still subbed, because YouTube. I mean, I've lost 5 subs this week.
That sucks.
So
yeah,
it's like if
make sure
if you're one of them, make sure you correct it. Yeah.
Sometimes you can see the videos.
Right.
Sometimes you can see videos popping in by the person you watch, and you think you're still subscribed, but you're not. So always
that. Yes, that does happen. Yeah.
Exactly. And with all that said, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat, and you're dropping comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you guys, you know you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys, and we appreciate you so very much. You can be anywhere right now, and you're here with us. It's so encouraging to see you here. And I love seeing you in all of our streams, because you don't just encourage us, you encourage one another. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our family. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Like Netter said, if you could hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Nowadays, you can hit the membership button if you want to join and support the channel financially. And so I have an excuse to say I'm actually gainfully doing something here with this channel. I would super appreciate it. There's super thanks. There's tips. Super appreciate any support you do. Same with all the other channels. A lot of the channels in our sphere are starting to get monetized. It's very, very encouraging. But, it's free to subscribe. It's free to share out the streams that you enjoy and get other people watching. It costs you nothing, but it really does help out the channel. It's a great, great way to support. And thanks, guys, so much. Speaking of all the supporters, you're going to see their names in just a second. Thank you all for coming by, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next. I haven't even finished this, and wow. See you on the next one, guys. Take care.
Getting lost.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.